Come on in to the White Wolf's Den. The name's White Wolf, and I know what you're thinking. What the hell kind of name is that? White Wolf is my second middle name, and there is no H. Why? Because my dad was a crazy asshole. So, here he is. The scintillating, the fashionable. So, we are here on the White Wolf's Den. I got LP3, Landor. El Monte Landor.
Trying things out.
We're trying things out. We're going to talk
about LP.
LP. So we got LP here. Why do I have LP here? Because we're sitting in a garage.
Because we're making money. That's why the LP's here.
So
we're on the world's greatest, easiest day.
Me and Landor, me and LP, we work together. We do couple things together, but I'm having them here to talk about
stupid, random, dumb thoughts.
No, Sunday, be there. The Santa Anita racetrack. So Landon considers himself some type of a horse connoisseur.
You see, that's the first problem that we're having right now, is that Bobby's trying to be interesting and funny, when really you gotta just be cool.
I'm not trying to be interesting. I am interesting.
You are a very interesting person, but when you try,
I'm not trying.
You can tell.
I'm not trying anything, dude.
Yeah, you're like trying to do an introduction.
Well, you have to. You don't just go like, tell me. You don't just start and go tell me things. You have to say, hey, we got Landor the Great, or LP, which you're going by LP.
Well,
but anyways,
anyways.
Before we go on, you got to tell me a little bit about yourself.
Done.
Come on.
Not much to be said. Just the average Joe.
Oh, yeah?
Average Joe.
You work art department.
We work furniture. We're
furniture
set
details.
whores. We're set whores.
Yeah.
We sign up and get whored out to whoever's participating.
Well, you know what rhymes with whore? Horse, almost.
There's your entertaining side. Zing! I feel like that Saturday Night Live skit with the two women in the sweaters, and it's like the Christmas talk show, radio show with Alec. Remember Alec Baldwin?
Is that what you feel like? Why do you feel like that?
What is it? The Baker Show? Like, oh yeah, we made cupcakes. Oh, they were delicious. Yeah, they were really good. Yeah, there was. You don't remember that? All right, now all of a sudden they're fucking talking to a cricket.
Well, anyways, this show's over. So,
wow, what are you gonna do?
So, anyways, one of the reasons why
is it a show? I thought we were gonna talk about how to do.
Well, hold on, dude. I'm the host here, so I'm leading this.
Fair enough.
This fucking catastrophe. So, the reason Landon is so preoccupied right now is because he's knee deep in a racing form for Sundays.
Slash, we're trying to make a drawing out of a blank canvas here, and we don't know what the fuck we're doing.
What are we talking about? We're talking about horse racing here.
Yeah, we're supposed to have a natural conversation. I'm not an entertainer, and people can't stand me after listening to me about for 15 minutes. But please continue.
How long have you been into horse racing?
Since Big Brown almost won the Triple Crown.
When was that?
Fuck. Hollywood Park was still around. That was.
Were you watching it on TV or
at Hollywood Park?
You were at Hollywood Park.
Yeah, we were watching it on the big screen there.
Yeah. How old were you?
No, maybe. I want to say it wasn't that long ago, but
so
time flies.
Yeah.
I'm already.
Who were you with? Were you with your family or
fucking G Joe? Fucking G's friend G.
Is he a big
head
horse
and
guy?
Shoulders?
He's a big horse guy.
He's a big gambler. G-Joe, the difference between... I like to read the horses and figure out what the race is. Yeah. G-Joe was a better player than me because he knew how to lay his bets down. He would bet against himself, which is, to me, I was like this old school kind of thinking like, oh, no, you got to pick winners because that's your thought process and you figured out the race and this is what you need to do. Where G-Joe, he took a more practical stance at it and would be like, I'm going to bet jockeys and I'm going to bet trainers because the jockeys and the trainers have figured it out. They have inside information. Like we talked about this race 7. Mike Smith only races big time race horses. Okay, it's like Nolan Ryan. He ain't gonna show up and pit for no fucking AAA team, even when he's hurt. He's gonna come back into the major leagues when he gets better. He's not gonna do a recovery in the fucking minors. This is Nolan Ryan. Same thing with Mike Smith. Mike Smith is not gonna race he's so good and so high in demand when it comes to horse racing that Mike Smith picks his mounts.
What were you saying about poker players?
Oh,
You said
poker players.
G-Joe's a poker player?
G-Joe's a poker player. He's a cold stone gambler, meaning he knows his strategies. He has his experience, and he does his strategies through experience. And he just knows how to lay his money down. He started playing, and he would run circles around me, making money. That's fine, but I'm only paying $20. He's like you in the roulette. He shows up and hits it hard, and it's okay with losing $200-$300 because he knows he's gonna hit an $800, a $300. Boom, 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 boom. But this is through other experiences.
Cheers.
Than sitting down and reading this and trying to figure out how the world works through the daily racing forum. That's a different mindset. Gijo's showing up gambling. I'm showing up potted out high and trying to figure out how the world works through the daily racing forum.
Yeah. Well, but like you said, here's the difference again. I'll say this, like between roulette or poker and this game. There is luck involved, but with this, there's a lot of edges you can get. Whereas in roulette, I'll be honest, it's pure luck for me. It's absolute luck. It's guessing. But because, dude, when I was sitting the other day, when I played, and I did fairly well, there's a number that I like. And there was a gentleman sitting there. One of the reasons why I wasn't really playing it, his buddy, he goes, my buddy plays 0, 00, and 2. And he sat there for 4 hours, and it didn't hit 300 times. 300 numbers went by and it didn't hit, and the guy got killed. So that's the same thing that can happen with me. The same thing with poker is you can get a rad hand, and there's a psychology there that your acting skills play, and like the book Art of War, acting like you have something when you don't, or acting like you don't have something when you do. It doesn't work like that with horse racing. So no. You can have that gambler's edge where you could be like Stone Cold, where the moment you kind of don't care, when you know how much you can lose and you don't care, things become a little easy. If you go in saying, I'm going to lose $100 today, and if I don't, great, but I have money to play. This is my hobby, right? That's when things get a little bit more fun or more easy, you know?
Right.
If you know, so
of course, if you're not paying with money, if you can't afford it, you shouldn't be there.
So you're saying that guy is he's a gambler, he has it in him, so he just knows
he's
how to
calm. Cover his bets.
Yeah,
he knows how to cover his bets. He knows how to lay his money down. He finally learned how to read the paper. It took him about years and years to finally sit down and learn how to read the paper. But he was more successful than me because of he had really simple strategies that worked for him.
Yeah.
Some people bet colors and they win.
Oh, like the color of the number?
Of the horse.
Oh, of the horse.
I'm sure people could bet the...
I was the number color.
They could.
Also,
numbers.
Yeah. Well, but the numbers are always the same. Like the color,
if someone sees a great horse, to them it's a big bunny rabbit.
My friend used to bet on the horse that shit before the race, and it never did anything really good. He thought, if he shits, he's lighter.
I mean, there could be something to that. I mean, but
no, it doesn't matter.
One time I was at Del Mar, and there was this beautiful, like, handsome horse. You know, this guy looked like something out of you would put next to Sleeping Beauty in a fairy tale. And then the next horse literally looked like fucking some. His nose was hanging out of his mouth. His eyes were cockeyed. His head was tilted up, looking off into space. And he just like, this horse is dumb. And I'm like, that's the last horse I'm gonna bet. And I was trying to do paddock handicapping, which is probably the hardest form of handicapping, and some guys only do that. And I was picking the handsome horse, right? And here comes the race, and here comes fucking tongue, dude. All you just see this stupid horse with his tongue sticking out of his mouth, 4 or 5 lengths in front of the pack, beats everyone like it fits a different race. He's running his own race. And then Mr. Handsome comes in dead last. So you don't, paddock handicapping is for those who were raised with horses.
Sure.
They know that this dude could box.
Yeah.
You look at the guy and be like, this guy could fight. Mm-hmm. You just know. Because, it's a survival thing in your brain that's showing like, this dude could probably fuck me up. I got to be careful. Probably hit him first or, sneak attack his ass. But there's people that see a horse and they know this horse is great.
Like they could see his haunches or something.
I don't know. They just see I've picked up a little bit of it throughout the years where they look at the ears, they look at the matter of the horse. Some guys are like, well, the horse is nervous. He's real nervous. And some guys would like that. Like, oh, no, he's dancing. Oh, no, he's performing.
I remember you said
eager.
Who used to dance before the race?
Zenyatta was such an obvious champion that I hate to refer to her because it's like referring to Babe Ruth as hitting home runs. Like, yeah, everyone knows he can hit home runs.
But she also used to come and dance before the race.
Well, she would go to the boys and be like, hey, boys, look at me. Look at me. I can, she would flirt with the boys. Yeah. And then she would go kick their ass. And she would close on them. Yeah. And she closed where she swung out to almost to the other fucking rail of the field, man. So she raced 2 races. She raced harder. And not only did she race harder than the other horses, she would beat them. Because she almost raced an extra 3 or 4 furlongs. Because when you're coming around the stretch, that's why they say, like, oh, the closer horse, oh, he's a great closer, but he's on the rail. I don't want him to be on the rail. Why? Because if the horse gets stuck on the rail, they crowd him. Mm-hmm. The horse positions him. And if he's on the rail, he can't go out and close on the horses. That's why Zenyatta, she'd let the whole pack go, and she'd just kind of trot. She didn't rust. She didn't run. She just trot on the back of the pack. And then on the last turn, here's the whole horse, and you just see her shuffle out. Literally, like someone picked her up and put her on the outside of the pack and flicked her in the butt, and she just would run.
Did she always use the same jockey? Because you'd have to, right? Because it's like if he had that thing, like he had that timing.
See, Mike Smith it's his favorite horse. And he said there was the first race that she raced with a different jockey. I want to say it was Rosario or I don't know who it was. But then Mike Smith took over, and Mike Smith would ask of her on the end at the end of the race. He would whip her, and she would not respond. And he learned to not touch that horse.
He just let her do her thing.
He just was fine. He's like, I would just go for the ride. But he was that good of a jockey to be intuitive, to know this.
To not force.
He would, they're not hitting.
Sure.
But they would tap the horse to ask it to run. Yeah. Which they're trying to get rid of. They're trying to get rid of whips in races. But he says he asked and she wouldn't respond. And instead of getting frustrated, he realized that she's not. This is my race.
Well, that's someone who knows horses because I had a neighbor.
That's why he's Mike Smith.
Yeah, I had a neighbor who taught me a lot about horses, and he had 10 rescues, and he never put a saddle on them, and but he would ride them. I think there was one that he said when he was trying to ride him. He said, if the horse didn't want it, it would let me know. And I would just say, okay. Because I wasn't trying to force it to do anything. It's like there's people who have that horse whispering thing. Yeah. It's a real thing.
It is.
Yeah.
Because they're very complex animals.
Oh, yeah.
They really are.
And they're really smart.
And they can be very sensitive. And because they're pack animals. Yeah. They're pack animals. They're like dogs.
Yeah. So what's your process?
I just like to get. What I did was I like to get high. I like to get drink. And I had my tables like the work tables we have here. I was sitting in the place that was renting. I'd have the TV on with the horse races. I'd have my laptop like this. I'd be similar like this, minus the mics, and have all my races out and drinking and sitting back and getting lost in the paperwork.
How did they have paperwork, or how did you?
Of course, this has been around since the 1900s.
I was saying, did the
Daily
guys
Racing Form has won Nobel Peace journalistic prizes for being the most accurate newspaper in the world.
Well, I was talking about when you were with those guys, were they into the forums?
No,
How did you get into the forums?
Well, we had taken me to see Big Brown, and I was fascinated, and I noticed, and I knew about I didn't know about the forms, but you know about the forms, like subconsciously they exist. And then, of course, if you get interested in something, you want to learn about it. Like, if you're playing guitar, eventually you're going to try to learn how to read music.
So, but did you go find it out yourself? Did you ask somebody, or how did you come across the forms?
The internet. I went to the Daily Racing Forum internet, and it's funny you asked that, because on the internet, that the Daily Racing website, they teach you what every single thing means.
That's really good.
And you scroll your mouse over it, and a little window pop up. This is the name of the horse. This is who they're owned by. This is who trains the horse. This is how old the horse is. This is how much they paid for the horse at the auction.
What website is it? What's it called? Just
dailyracingforum.com.
dailyracingforum.com?
That's the only, as a horse player, it's the only website you need to know.
Just double check that,
the DRF, the Daily Racing Forum. It's been around.
I just want to see if the actual URL, so I could tell my listeners. Racing Forum.
1894.
It's drf.com.
Yeah.
www.drf.com. And you can go check this out, and you can download racing forums for daily, and you can even do some ahead, like a day or two, or what?
Well, like Tuesday, Wednesday, they'll offer Saturday's ticket. If it's like the Kentucky Derby, they'll have a pre-sale of horses. Like, for instance, the Kentucky Derby, I think this year was like 15 or 20 horses in the leg. But if you get the or like the form before the official form comes out, there'll be like 40 horses on it, because they haven't taken horses out. But you could still look at the horse's history and kind of develop a game plan on the big races. Like and it's pretty shitty of the industry too, because on the Breeders' Cup, for instance, they won't release the fucking Breeders' Cup until 3 or 4 days before the Breeders' fucking Cup. But if you pay $50, they'll release you the pre-release 2 weeks early. But it's like, you got to pay to play.
So all this stuff that I was hearing in the news, like about these horses going down, there's been like 20 of them in Santa Anita. Like, what do you think? Why all of a sudden is this?
Somebody changed the track.
Somebody
changed the way they treat the track. Dirt tracks have been around since fucking 1894.
Even probably before that.
And this for these many horses to die, and it's very sad because it's not an easy way to die. These poor horses that die, it makes me conflicted to play this game, even though it's just so, the information, it's the most transparent, most honest form of gambling, in my opinion. Besides, it is.
Well, because it's like when you go to a casino,
luck.
When you go to wits, well, when you go to the casino, there's a house advantage.
There's a house advantage. It's luck.
The only real house advantage here are those people, besides those ones who get the racing form.
I'm playing against you.
Well, no, but there's more. There's there's those people who end up basically living at the track, getting to know the owners, getting to know the trainers. Those are the only people who may have a super advantage, but even then, it's still luck.
They have a biting edge.
Yeah.
Those are the guys who make a living out of, they always talk about that celebrity at Santa Anita, the hat. The guy, whatever the fuck his name is. But he has obviously made a living out of this sport. He's not a horse trainer. No. He's a character who's been around and has made a living because he's that good at handicapping.
Well, my
there's more people than you might imagine that make a living off of handicapping horses.
My grandpa, he was big into horse racing, and sometimes he'd come home and he'd win like 20 G's. But then one time I think he took the rent and fucking lost it. And when he lost too, my dad said that he was a total asshole.
Well, of course.
He would be like, get the fuck out. But then if he won, he'd be like, let's take the family to dinner, Yeah. But he gave my mom a tip that when the first time I ever went to Santa Anita, she told me, she goes, hey, don't get too crazy and get caught up like he did. But the one tip that he did give me, and it works. But I'm saying that as a sort of a half an opinion, because nothing is foolproof.
No.
But they said, my mom goes, you find the dirtiest, ugliest, filthy teeth, if they're missing teeth, like dirty hair, like nasty clothes person.
Is hilarious.
You find that person, and they know everything, and they hit. And I was like, okay, whatever. And I kind of looked, but then I didn't really think about it. Then I went to the sandwich line. I went and bought a sandwich, and this little troll lady came up, and she was like this blonde, like she looked rough, dude. She had these overalls.
Degenerate, dude.
She had these overalls on.
It's a degenerate sport.
And I noticed when she smiled, she had these yellowest teeth, and I was like, hey, it's like, who do you think's gonna win? She goes, oh, and then she just went off. She went off, and then I think this and this and this, and so I went with her to the betting thing, the little computer, and I trifected with her, not box, straight up for $2.
Not box.
No, straight up. She goes, oh, I know it's gonna be 752. I know it
because she's been sitting there looking at this paper.
For
the last fucking 5 days.
And
she has literally, I mean, because you sit down and it's like a comfortable old friend. And,
well, she also said,
you start processing it. Like, I'm sitting here looking at this one, and God, this best 2 minutes is probably the best bet, for sure, bet of the day. He's 9-5 though. You should see his workouts. There's people who only handicap with workout alone. This guy's been working out extraordinary. Just 4 furlongs at 47.3. I mean, that's good fast. That's average fast, but for that day he was second out of 38 horses. He got the second best time for that workout of the day out of 38 horses. It doesn't mean that all 38 horses were ran hard. It's just indicator that he can run, and not only can he run, he's in shape. He's working out on average fast. It shows how it's an indicator on how fast the horse is going to show up that day.
Well, that lady, she was talking about how, oh, I know this owner, and I know like this horse was bred to this person and from this horse, and that horse is good on this, and this horse is good on dirt. And then so we did the race 752, and this was like the 6th or 7th race of the day, and I didn't win anything.
Right.
I would always, and then. And just like clockwork, the horses go, and then the winner did the thing that you said that Zenyatta used to do, hang back.
Oh, it's closed on him.
And then boom, hit it at the end. She goes, oh, yeah, he's a closer. That's the first time I ever heard that term, is he's a closer.
Yeah.
And I won like $62,
right,
like with $2. And I was like, holy shit. And then the next race, she did the same thing, and then I won again.
Right.
And I was like, what's your number?
Yeah, she didn't fuck around.
I never saw her again, though.
She was a serious player. And there's guys, and those guys who have that information are rare dudes. They're guys who probably should be, that they've earned their dues.
Yeah. Well, also
they probably lost a lot. They've spent a lot of time there. But like as an average player, somebody who wants to just do something for fun.
Yeah.
The reason why I mention this is that you can find, if you went back to what those races that woman won, and see who ran, you could sit there, and even though it's in hindsight and it's easy to make an argument up because you know the results of the race, but you can see, like whenever I lose a race, I learn more of losing races than I do winning a race, because I'll go back, why the fuck did that horse win? He was 21 horse. This best 2 minutes on paper was the strong, like this horse here, if the number 3, the best 2 minutes, loses on this race, I will go back and see why this other horse ran, and there'll be something in the paperwork that will indicate, that will show you, like for instance, this first horse, Postcard, the trainer, I mean, this horse hasn't done shit in the last 3 races. However,
are you talking about like training wise?
However, the trainer, when this horse usually races on the turf, Point Guard, they put her on dirt. They put him on dirt the last race. He did better. He didn't do good, but he did better than he had been doing on turf. So now they're going to shorten him up because he's been losing races at on the turn on a mile over. See, I could sit here in Point Guard is, if I wanted to beat number 3, I would try to beat him with Point Guard, because the trainer on dirt has put last year 116 horses. Out of 116 horses, she has a 19% win rate. She returns $3.16 on average to your $2 win bet. On claimers, what this is obviously is a claimer race. She's done 83 claimer races, 20% win, which is good. Anything over 17% is a good percentage in horse racing. She's gotten $2.57 for your dollar. And when her and the trainer and this jockey, Fuentes, when they team up, she's teamed up 14 times this year. She's a 21% win rate. This is just this season, the 19th season. She's won $3.54 for every $2. So they have had a combo percentage, which is a good percentage. 21% is good. In dirt, in the right spots.
So on Sunday, what's the big race?
Oh, yeah, this is like
That's the very first starting.
yeah.
But what's
and
the
it's
big one?
Again, it's a 12K claimer race,
Yeah.
which is like that's the horse that you had bought.
Yeah. Well,
This is
it
the
was
horse that-
doing. It started doing 20Ks and got her ass kicked,
And
and
you
then
think 20K is low? This is a 12.
oh, I know, but she ended up going down to 5,000, and she was
Yeah.
winning, and then she got hurt. She
But
didn't die, but
for the Southern California,
for those who don't
racing,
know, yeah.
those 5K is extremely.
Oh yeah,
Like I don't
I'm
think
aware.
they run 5Ks.
They barely do, but for those who don't know, like me and like 20 friends ended up buying a racehorse just so big.
Right.
I did it just so I
what
could
was
say
the horse's name again?
my Carmela. She lived at Santa Anita. She went to 2 trainers. One of them was Gus Headley, which is Bruce Headley's son, and then we went to Carla Gaines. She didn't do well in the very first race. It was like a kid like running on the playground, and then all of a sudden she never had like a competitive edge. She just loved running. So she never at the end like really pushed herself until she did those really small races. Then she won. She did a few second places, and she ended up paying for herself. And then like she had a bad ankle, and so they sent her to a farm. At least that's what they told me. I almost feel like a little kid whose goldfish died, and my mom lied to me.
Flushed him down the toilet.
But at the same token, like I went to see the horse and pet it, and like, I don't go like religiously, but I like going to Santa Anita sometimes. Like you said, I don't
Well,
like
this isn't for
hearing
people-
animals die. Or whatever.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I'm not really like when I first started, I had such an interest in it that it was like I was playing in Santa Anita in the morning, then I go to Los Alamitos at night.
Nice.
That was a lot. That's a lot to do.
Isn't there a casino by Los Alamitos too, or no? That the Hustler, or no? Am I wrong? I gotta look
Not
that
the
up.
Hustler, but there might be
Hollywood Park? No.
No, that's Hollywood Park and Hollywood Park Casino.
No,
Which, by the
where's-
way, Hollywood Racetrack was the best racetrack in Southern
they closed
California.
it down, huh?
Yeah, it's going to be the Ram Stadium now. I
Oh
think.
wow. Hey, so what's the big race on here?
Okay, before you do real quick, just to get a sense of, like we were just talking about 12K and then your 20K claimer.
Sure.
You can go up to like a 60K claimer to even 100K claimer. Yeah. And these basically are good horses that are either moving up in the world or taking a step down. Now, when you have like, for instance, let's say you're a baseball guy or baseball star, or you're trying to make it to the major leagues. So to do that reference, you're in a 12K, you're in like high school baseball, right? And you go up to like a 60K, maybe you're in single A. When you get into an optional claimer, which is maybe double A, and then you get into an allowance race, which is more of a like a higher affiliate double A team, or a more higher affiliated triple A team. And when you get into the major leagues, if you will, you're a player now. And those are graded races, as they call it. There's a grade 3, a grade 2, and a grade 1. Grade 1 being the best of those races. Now, as in just like in major leagues, you have some players who are the best of this team, the best in the league, the best in their division, the best in the whole sport. And just like in baseball, things get broken down. So that's coming to, with that being said, there's staked races. Stake races are not necessarily great. They could be graded. They could be even a grade 1 or grade 2 or grade 3, or not even a grade at all. But since they're at a stakes level, there's like usually the local track has put money towards this race. So you attract good horses. Even though it's not a G1 or G2 or G3, it's a stakes race. So there's like 76K, 151K is stakes, and a stakes race is respectable on your resume. So if you're an owner who owns a horse and you're trying to get that horse into a graded 3 race, or as somebody who owns a track or as a stewardess, you're going to be looking like, well, your horse hasn't won past an allowance race. We need to see him at least win a couple of stakes races to allow him into a grade 3, because his numbers doesn't show him to being able to compete at a G3 level. And then you get, just like in baseball, you get superstar horses who literally start off in stakes grade 1. Their first effing race is a graded race. How these horses are determined to be that badass is what you were referring to earlier about inside information. Breeders and these guys who are in the industry. As a layman who just goes once in a while and fucks around with the daily racing form, and don't get me wrong, trainers and stuff, they live by the daily racing form too. But they're in it so much that they know the industry.
Hey, when you say G1, G2, and G3, which one's the best?
G1's a graded one. It's as is. It's number one race.
And so this last, is it the last race or is it?
So it's usually not the last race.
Yeah,
it's usually like a 6th, 7th, 8th race. And there's some days that are the best race day of the year for Santa Anita, which usually is the Derby day. They'll have 3 or 4 graded races in one day. To have 2 graded races in one day is a lot. That's a big race day. If you have a grade 3 and an allowance race, that's an average good day. Yeah. It's not like, oh my God. But if you have a G1 race and a bunch of allowance races, that's a good day. Meaning you're going to see good horses that you're going to see down the line. Mm-hmm. You're going to see Maximum Security. You're going to see Justified race in the Kentucky Derby or in the Santa Anita Derby or this grade 2 Del Mar grade 2 surf and turf derby, you know. So
this race, the big one on this one, how long?
So
no,
Sunday's
you're fine.
Ticket.
This is all cool information. Sunday's Ticket, the big race. It's a mile.
It's the 7th race. It's a mile turf, which is turf and dirt. There's 2 different. That's 2 different games right there.
And usually when I see these with you, there's like an Ireland horse. There's horses from all over, right? Is this going to be the case?
You got to be
UK, Britain.
You got to be careful with the British and the Ireland horses because those are the real legitimate. They are true-blooded turf horses.
And they also do like 100-horse races as well.
Well, they're just bred to be a turf horse. Yeah. Like dogs are bred to be a certain thing.
Well, I'm just saying
they're bred to be a turf horse. So we're trying to catch up to a game that they've been doing for generations on generations in Britain. That's all they do is race on grass because all they have is grass. Uh-huh. And they train in sand. Mm-hmm. There's this race called the horse in Britain called Red Rum, and this horse won the Ascot like 3 times in a row. And there's 100 horses.
That's insane.
It's how much money? 20 furlong race.
Oh my God.
There's jumps with the 100 horses. There's jumps.
Shit.
And you hear the announcers. You don't understand what they're saying, but you hear you do. But the only thing you hear is like, oh, we gotta, and then you gotta follow. They call it say, oh, you gotta follow. Oh, number 6, you gotta follow. And a follower is someone falling off the horse.
Holy shit!
And you see their little bodies, like, but it's not like, oh my God, he fell.
No, it's just part of life.
Number 6, number 8, he's got to. Oh, we got to follow. Number 9, number 9's follower. Number 10, number 12, we got another follow. And it's just part of the race. And I don't know how these horses don't get hurt. But this horse, Red Rum, he was from the 30s or this era, maybe 50s. He won it 3, maybe 4. He is probably the Secretariat and Zianata. These are great horses for Americans. Yeah. But I've never heard of an accomplishment like Red Rum's.
Well, winning a 100-horse race, like a 20-furlong 100-horse race, like 3 times.
And Ascot, like if you know the Ascot.
So what's Ascot?
That's the Queen's race.
Okay, and where's that? London? That's in London.
Well, I don't know if it's in London. It's in. Yeah. I'm not too
probably
particular.
Outside of the city limits or whatever.
I think it's like in the middle. I want to say. I don't know.
We should go there. We should take a trip.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I remember when I went. There was a point where I did want to do like the local tracks.
Yeah.
But we happen to have in Southern California the best track, and Del Mar is the second.
Sure.
And for quarter horse racing too.
Yeah.
And Los Alamitos is the best spot in the nation.
But me and Jen, we should go, and you could bring your wife and kid and your little kid and go to England, and then we could do the track. That would be really cool. It'd be really expensive though, probably during that race, right? Like the area, like if it's a big event.
Grand National, Red Rum is a Grand National. Yeah, he died in 95, which is pretty recent.
He died in 95, the horse?
Yeah.
Wait, how long is the horse's lifespan?
I've seen 15-year-old horses race.
But this, you said this horse was from the 30s.
No, I misspoke. He's from 65.
Oh, still, but you're saying Red Rum died in the 90s?
He died in 95.
So that means he was like a 40-year-old horse?
He was a strong, he was red. He was magic.
Holy shit.
He was magic red was his color. And his color was a bay. He's a bay horse. So he's like a nice, like a red brown almost. 30. Wow. Anyway.
So one more time, like, how many horses are in this this big race? And which one is it? 6 or 7?
So this is the 7th race. Is a 1 mile stakes.
On
It's
turf.
a Fran Valentine race, whatever the fuck that means. It's 100K. I mean, you can sit here and learn about what the fuck.
No,
Valentine
it's okay.
is.
Well,
Shit.
no, but
It's a 9. It's a 9-horse race. It's pretty
and
big.
they're all pretty big ballers. Okay,
Well, yes and no. You just at this level, it's just like the major leagues. Anybody can hit off you.
yeah,
Anybody,
of course,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
You have to show up with some game,
yeah.
or else if you take it easy, one of these guys will come up on you.
There's a couple ways you can approach gambling on a horse race. You can
Thousands of ways.
Well, I
hundreds
mean,
of ways
yeah,
if
you
go.
can, like some of the more popular ways, you can just bet straight up and say, I bet this horse is going to win. You could do placing, which means I bet this horse is going to do second place or better, or second place, and then
Yeah,
you
no
could do,
one does that. That's
and then you could do
retarded.
show, but a lot of people do all together. You can do
Right.
win, place, and show,
Right.
and get more money.
Of course.
If you totally
Or
believe in a horse.
exactas are big favorites.
Like, and then exactas is you pick 2 horses, and you can boxing means that in any order. So then you can do trifecta, pick 3 horses. Say you pick the 5, 4, and 3 horse.
but those cut the percentage.
Yeah. Well,
down.
you have to bet more money to bet the same amount. Like, say you do a $1 trifecta box. That means in any order, it becomes a $6 bet.
Right.
And so you'll get the same thing as if you went straight up, but you have to. But now you do any order, so you have to bet a little bit more money.
Right.
So if you bet $1, 5, 4, 3 without boxing, that
Right.
means you bet the 5, the 4, and the 3 horse are going to come in that order. If you
less
box,
money.
no, that means it's $1, yeah, and you can win if they're like decent odd horses, then you'll probably win like 50 or 60
You win
bucks.
more money. It's a harder bet to hit.
Yeah,
Significantly more. It's like double.
If you box it, you pay $5 more, and you can still win that $60. And it's like a smart bet. I think it's smart to box unless you're.
It's easier to win off a box.
Yeah,
So you're not going to win as much as if you just do straight
But it's
up.
the same.
No,
No,
it's not.
Look, like when I won. So I'll tell a story later. But when I won my trifecta box, if I would have bet $1 and that whatever order it was, it would have been $4,003. I won on a box. It was the same amount. You get the same amount, but you have to pay more money. But I paid $5 more. You know what I'm saying?
I to be honest with you, I've only boxed when I trifecta.
Yeah,
I've never done a rare.
it basically pays you the trifecta amount, but you
Right.
just have to pay more money up front.
Again, that's me and my lack of knowing how to lay my money down.
No, that's okay.
That's what I'm saying. No, but I'm just being honest to show people, or to illustrate to you rather, that there's strong points in every player.
Well, I'm just saying I've
There's
learned.
strong points in every handicapper.
Yeah.
And you got to find yours and your weak spots and build on your weak spots. Like Gijo. Gijo was great at laying his money down. He was great at easily rationalizing between jockey, and he ignored all the other information in daily racing
and
for
it
me.
still worked for him.
And it still worked for him.
So another way that I was going to say
It did work for him, I should say.
Yeah.
Not like it wouldn't
Well,
have. Because it does work for him, and it works for a lot of people.
But another
It's
way,
probably the way you should be playing horses.
But another way that people bet was it pick 5, or I know there's pick 6. Is there less? You can do pick 4, right?
Yeah.
You can do pick 4, pick 5,
pick
pick
3
6.
even.
There's even a pick 3. Yeah. What that means is you can pick the winner of 3 races in a row. 3 and then 4, you can pick 4 winners. 5, you pick 5 winners.
For the pick 6, it's the
6.
last 6 races of the day, and you need to pick a winner for each race.
Yeah, and then there are usually some pretty high like rewards in those. Like I've seen it get up to 100,000, 200,000. My buddy won on a pick 6.
They roll over.
Yeah, well, my buddy won on a pick if nobody wins.
Right.
Oh yeah, so my buddy won on a pick 6 and he won $5,000. And the next week he won a pick 6 and he won $2,000, like back-to-back weeks, which is huge. That's a huge thing. Then we went and there was a new like promotion that basically said if only one person.
I didn't hear you. Wait, he got only $2,000 off of a pick 6?
Yeah.
That's nothing.
That means that a lot of people won, I think, that they're splitting a pot.
Oh.
So he said.
It's an easy race day that day.
Yeah. So he said the next week was a promotion that if you won and you were the only winning ticket, It's like a lottery that you would win 2.5 million, and he
Guaranteed. There's a guarantee to it. Is what they're saying.
If you were the only ticket, that means everybody had to lose but you.
Well, you're gonna win that anyway. I don't know what that means.
If so, say you want to pick 6 in that day, but 4 other people won, then you don't get 2.5 million. You win whatever the jackpot is. That was like an added pot.
That's how it is anyway, though. So
No,
if you win by yourself, of course you're gonna win the whole jackpot.
No, but that would be $100,000. This is
if the pick 6 is $2 million because they rolled over.
No. It wasn't a rollover.
So they guaranteed a pot of $2 million. Okay.
If you were the only one.
Okay.
So he was 1 horse away from hitting that. Yeah. On the 5th race, some long shot came in that nobody picked.
Right.
That's and if he picked that one,
right,
then he would have been. And on the last race, there was nobody available.
Right.
Everybody lost. And so what we were talking about doing was getting like 7 or 8 guys and picking like 4 horses each, like total, each race. And maybe we get one.
Well, that's what prompted this whole conversation that we're doing right now. Is what you're talking about is wanting to, because my mind's eye was, it'd be fun.
Yeah.
2, you can develop a ticket where 3 or 4 dudes win. I've seen $20 million rollovers. It's like 6 or 3 weekends roll over. There was this guy who was going to win the biggest top pot at the time. It was in Del Mar. Del Mar, by the way, is, for me, the hardest effing place to handicap. Something about that track. Anyway, this guy was going to win the hugest pot, so big that they put his dumbass on the video interviewing him. Like, hey, this is the 8th race. You're 1 race away from winning this jackpot. How do you feel about that?
And then he lost.
He lost.
Of course.
But this is how complex horse racing is and how interesting it can get. The guy who won, there was a winner that day.
Oh, nice.
And the guy who did win that day won off of, because, let me backtrack here. I'm sorry. I'm a bad storyteller. He put his horse in the last horse race. With the last race of the day, is always a long shot wins the horse. The last race of the day always is like the first race. It sucks, and it always takes people out of the pick 6. The last race always kills people. They always put 1 horse in because they've done the first part of their ticket. They put 4, 3, 2, 5 horses to win this. They pick these many horses in each leg. And the 9th horse, it seems to be that they always single out this. They always have enough money to only put 1 horse in. So this guy was in the situation, the guy who was going to roll over and they were interviewing on TV, he was in the 1 horse situation, but he had picked a favorite. And it seemed like a strong favorite. I remember the paperwork. It seemed like this number 1.
Right.
It was
the Briar was the thing.
Minutes.
The best.
Everything was and everybody else
jockey,
sucked.
The best jockey.
Everybody else sucked.
Bred to run on that track.
Suck a dick. And he lost, but the guy who won had it was his horse. He had singled the 9th race, and his horse was like a 30-1 horse. He won.
Did he get interviewed?
He was the owner. No,
he was the owner of the horse.
He was, because only 2, because they're able to know, out of all the millions of people who've gambled on this race today, they're able to know that there's 1, there's 3, there's 5 winning tickets out in the world right now.
Sure.
There's only 2 tickets out in the world right now that are in this pick 6 right now. 2 people. Out of the millions of people, there's 2 people. One of them, they had on this dumbass on TV, and the other guy had his horse in the race. He was balls out enough to single his fucking horse in the 9th race.
On a 30-1.
And he fucking, it was like a Secretariat story. Secretariat, the story there. Everyone does. But it was such an amazing gambling story that I was baffled. And to do it at Del Mar.
Which is, like you say, hard to pick.
Oh, for me, it was the hardest. It's not an honest track. You'll get horses there like best 2 minutes, and the fucking thing comes in last. And you're like, what the fuck, dude? This horse on paper is Mike Trout, and the motherfucker can't hit a ball. It's frustrating. It's really, really frustrating. When you were playing at Hollywood Park, you'd get horses that were maybe 5 or like the 2nd or 3rd best. A 5-1, a 4-1 horse. But they would win, or they would come in 2nd, and the favorite would come in 2nd and just barely lose. Or he would When?
But it's not, so you're saying
But it was
honest.
honest.
Yeah.
It seemed honest.
Yeah.
Where Del Mar, I think there is a handicap to Del Mar where they feel like some horses just like the Sea Breeze. They show up, they smell the fucking kelp and run like a motherfucker. That's what they say. Yeah. That's why they call it surf and turf.
So let's talk about the that big race at Santa Anita.
Well, the race of the day.
The
Sunday is the race ticket. It's the 7th race. It's 1 mile turf.
You said none of the jockeys in it are exciting?
It's a stakes race. No, it is exciting because Mike Smith is in. It's his one and only race that he races for the day. That means he doesn't bother to round any other horses but this one race. And something took him out of bed for the morning to come race number 6, Fairy Lady, Fiery.
So he's the favorite right now?
No, that's a 4 to no. Actually, she's not. That's a 4-1 horse. The favorite is a 5-2 Gypsy Blue, BLU, who's a 5-2, which isn't that strong of a favorite. The reason why she's favorite, I could already see it, is that she's 5. She's 5 years old, which is most of these guys are 5. There's a couple 6-year-olds, but she's barely raced.
Who's the jockey?
He's good jockey. It's Pratt, Prat.
Oh, that's the guy you were talking about.
Yeah, but
you said he has like almost a 30%.
He's got a 27% win rate. He's a daily racer though. Like he's racing in almost maybe 6 out of the 9 races today. And he's racing all, so he's dangerous because he races all the time. He's not like Mike's. He's not as no one's as privileged as Mike Smith, where they're able to pick up select mounts.
And what horse was Mike Smith racing?
Mike Smith is on. Is it Furry? I can't pronounce it right now. Fiery.
Let's see what we got here.
Fairy Lady.
I actually got my little racing form here now too. Which is the number of that horse?
6. It's unusual heat.
So number 6, Fiery Lady.
Fiery Lady.
I would. That's how Fiery Lady. I would do fiery, even though it's like or fiery. I'm waiting to see. It's like, and coming off the line, it's Fiery Lady.
That sounds right now. You say
it could be fiery though, but it could be fiery. So let's look at this one because you hinted you piqued my interest because Mike Smith rode on Zenyatta, correct?
Well, yeah, and he's rode on, he won the first Triple Crown.
And where's his percentage on here?
He's right next to his name. You see his name?
Okay. Smith M.E.
So we're looking at each storyline.
30%. He's got 30%.
He's a 30% win. He's raced in 86 races this year. That's nothing compared to
the
Praft, who's raced 233 races.
Yeah.
He's but again, Mike is so. He's got a 30% win rate off of 86 races this year.
Have any of these?
He's won 26 times. He's only done 13 for second and third.
Have any of these horses raced against any of the other horses in this race at all?
So do you notice on the line? It shows on Fiery. Let's go with Fiery Lady.
Yeah, I'm looking right there.
You see how there's Gypsy Blue, who's in bold black?
Yeah, I see. I do see that.
So they'll do that. They'll show you if one of these horses have come first, second, and third, and in relation to. So this is where things get interesting. She's lost to the favorite Gypsy Blue in her last race, which was a 6.5 turf race. It was the Irish O'Brien at 102K. But she's stretching out now. She's going a full mile. She's going a route, as they say. Anything a mile and above is called a route.
And I see 21.4. Is that the 4th place, or what is 21.4?
So 21.4. I don't see 20.
It's so if you see 31 March 19th, 6.5 furlongs, and there's a T, and then that number next to it, 24 with 21 with a little 4. This is the
first time when she ran out the gate. They have it in quarters. So they've quartered out the race. So the first quarter, she ran 21 seconds. The second quarter, she ran 44 seconds. The third, she ran it in 1 minute and 6 seconds. And then she finished the race at 1 minute and 12.
In second place? That's what that little 2 means?
And no, that's 1 minute and 12 seconds and
2/10.
2/10 of a second. So
oh, it shows.
It goes down that much.
So then, what is the bold number 78 right there?
That's her Briar. That's
her
how
Briar.
fast her Briar was in that race. And before that Briar, it shows what the race was. This is important because her last race that she raced in was a 102K race. That means that her owners believe that she should be in this class. She and her, if you scan down throughout the last 4 of her races, she ran in 102. She ran in a low optional claimer 40K. She won it, as she should, with Mike Smith. That race right there is like, we need to get some fucking hay for the barn. Let's run this race to make some money real quick. Yeah. Let's make 40K.
And they didn't run her
so
hard.
Her third race,
seemed, right? Because I see
69. That was an easy race. It was another sprint race, 6.5 furlong. Look at her history, dude. She started off in Golden Gates, which is another. I'm falling off this horse the more we talk about her. But December 18th was her last race at Golden Gates. It was 1 mile and 16th. That's a pretty average route race. It was a Miss America for 63K, which to be honest with you, in Santa Anita standards, that's a 20K allowance race. It's not a real stakes race comparative to Santa Anita. She got a Briar of 76 fine. She closed on the field. She's a closer. Throughout her history, you can see that she closes.
Where does it say that?
You see how it shows after the Briar, she was in fifth, third,
okay.
second.
Okay, so
she was in fifth. She kind of hung out in the back. And then around the turn, she positioned herself in third and was able to get second. She almost ran down the first place horse because she got second by 1.5 horse length.
Okay, so that I see that. See, like in the same one, that most recent race, she was 4th place.
She did not run her style. Van Dyke did not run her well. Van Dyke, for some reason, thought that she was going to run her out the gate. Look at her past history. Her last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 races, she did nothing but closed. She never ran out the gate in first place. For some reason, Van Dyke thought, I'm going to run her off the bat. Burned her out. Mm-hmm. Look what happened. 4 and 3. Mm-hmm. And that's 6.5 furlongs. That's not even a mile. Remember, she's running a mile turf today.
Let's go back to Gypsy Blue.
Well,
you want to
before you do that,
all right.
Before she came to Santa Anita, she came from Golden Gates in December 18th.
So that's 5 months ago.
All she ran was in Golden Gates, which again is an inferior circuit. And I don't mean to be mean. It's just the circuit. They don't have the Bob Bafferts, the Mike Smith who are racing here. They don't have the history here.
Sure.
So they brought her to Santa Anita. They thought, let's put her in a bunch of 6.5, let her get acclimated. And they start off in a 150K, 151K. This is the shortest race she's almost ever ran. She actually did run a 6 furlong in Golden Gate. She got 7th, so that's not an indicator that she's a good sprint horse. Sprint is anything below 7 furlong. So she did 6, 6.5, 6.5. She got 3rd, 1st, and 4th ever since she came into Santa Anita. That's not bad. She did okay. Yeah. Van Dyke, we can forgive her for her last race because Van Dyke did not run her right.
So if you're looking at if you pick up one of these,
but she definitely was not a contender compared to Gypsy Blue.
If you pick up one of these daily racing forms and you look at a horse's, like you say, you go into like the top race or the most like the stakes race of the day, and you go to like one of these horses. On the very left side of the sheet shows you the dates that they've raced.
Right.
Right next to it, it'll say GG or SA. GG is like Golden Gates. Right. SA is Santa Anita.
Right. Del Mar is DML.
Yeah. And then what's that next one? That FM, WF?
That's the condition of the track.
So the next thing, fast, and what's
FM?
FM
Is what?
I don't know. What's
Think
FM?
Think about it. FM. You almost said it.
Fast. What?
Firm.
Oh, firm. Okay. And then WF? Wet.
WF
firm?
is wet but fast.
Wet but fast. Okay. So then the
SLY
next, yeah,
is sloppy.
Sloppy.
That means he's
muddy.
a mutter.
Yeah.
Big Hall of Mudders.
Yeah.
He
So
runs wild in the mud.
So you get the date that they raced, where they raced, the condition of the track, the length of the race.
Right.
Usually, if it says 1, it's 1 mile, right?
Right.
And then like 6.5 F will be F. If there's an F, it's
6.5 furlong.
And then the next is the type of track. You have T for turf, and then what's X?
X means that it was on turf, but it was raining, so they probably took it on the dirt.
And then what's A? Or there's like a little diamond with an A underneath on the GG. Is that a dirt or?
A, GG, A.
So if you go on the very bottom on February 18th, the very first race that's listed, it says fast.
Yeah.
1 and 1/16
Oh, that
miles.
that used to be the old synthetic tracks. We don't have synthetic in Southern California anymore. Just 5 years ago, all the tracks switched over to dirt, which was a big deal because Southern California was speed. All the horses that came down here, we were known for speed horses, the fastest horses in the nation. In order to keep this speed safe, they developed a synthetic track, which was softer on their heels, and it was supposed to absorb their body better. But it proved to not do anything yet, put the horses a little bit more at risk. So they went back to the traditional dirt track. It was a big deal. Santa Anita did it first. Everything went smoothly. And we were referring about these 20-odd horses that just got killed.
Could be just a coincidence.
It's not. 20-plus horses is more than a coincidence. There's a underlying story which people aren't addressing. There's I rarely have inside sources, but I happen to have inside sources of an unknown story that's not being told, that there was a change on the track, which is a big fucking deal for them to allow them to do that. It's just a big deal to change the track. It's like changing the slot size of the roulette machine and not telling you.
It's a thing.
And not
because it's the way the ball travels.
And and they're not telling you. They just do it. And then all of a sudden you're not winning, or you have 20 horses dying. And the guy who did the track would not agree with the change, and he actually quit. And they brought him back. Mm-hmm. It's a big deal. These Mexican Americans and Mexicans who are really, the horse industry is in California, especially. It's their industry. They're doing such a great job. These are their horses. Baffert and all these guys, they're the money. They're the coach, yeah. They decide the history of the horse.
But then
the guys who are sitting and training with these players, they're conditioning, they're making sure that the players are in top-notch shape, are these unsung heroes.
Yeah. So after the turf style is the now. No, you're fine. You're talking.
Turf.
Yeah.
Gives it. It's like sand. It sucks your hoof in, and it's harder. So turf horses are stronger horses, and there's a big argument: does turf horses translate over to dirt, and do dirt horses translate over to turf? It's very rare for a dirt horse to translate over good to turf. It's not so rare for a turf to run into dirt well, but a lot of the times turf horses, I'll always bet against the turf trying to get into dirt because they don't like the way it feels. It feels different to them. If they're a real champ, if they're a real like Mike Tyson, they'll deal with it. But that's rare. Mike Tysons are rare.
So you're saying it's crazy. So horses, they're temperamental, just like people.
They're human. Like I talk to people who run track to get an idea how a horse runs, because they're humans. They're just like humans. They're just it's a simple thing to run around a track. It doesn't take a fucking rocket scientist, but with due respect,
nuances,
because it's an honest reality fight for survival. Sure. When you're fighting for your life, you're not trying to figure out the fucking way the universe works. You're fighting for your life. Same thing with these horses. These horses are smart in their world.
Yeah.
Smarter than us.
So these next 4 numbers, there's 4 sets of numbers, are quarterly times. Like what they finished their first quarter of the race in. That's what we just talked about.
So these are extremely important in sprint races and in route races.
Because you see how hard they get off the gates? That's kind of a big thing.
Just show you what they honestly run at. And you'll start noticing what are good numbers and what are bad numbers.
So what's the number, the 4+ or 3+ next to those numbers? Do you know what that is?
Oh, with the 4 number going up and the 3 with the arrow pointing up?
Oh, yeah.
Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. It looked like plus signs with their arrows.
Those are 4-year-olds and up.
Okay, so that's the race, the years.
So there's no thing as a 3-year-old
And then the next thing I'm seeing is F's all the way up.
That's filly.
Filly. Okay, so that's
So
filly's a
only.
female, right?
Fillies only.
Yeah, and then there's
Stakes.
Stakes or claims. And claims means that somebody could buy your horse.
It's an optional claimer. In claimers, yes. In optional claimers, you have the option to sell it or not.
If somebody
There's a whole
offers.
weird thing with this, too. It's more of a stewardess home. If you own horses, you give a shit.
Yeah.
If you're...
Oh, yeah, because, I mean, we own the horse, and every
and you
race...
need to be able to put your horses in the right race.
Well, when we
which
first...
makes it important for handicappers, because you need to understand what the purpose of the trainer is. Because if you can see that the trainer is just putting this fucking horse in to make a couple of dollars in third, fourth place, if you're good, you could see that.
Yeah.
Or you could see that this trainer is really trying to get this horse on the right path. Yeah. Really trying to... This is a stepping stone for this horse to get to the Derby.
Yeah.
To get to the Santa Anita Derby. To get to the 2-year-old plus breeder cup race.
Well, when we first bought my Carmela, the reasons why we went in on her, she was in a $50,000 stake race or a claim race.
That was big expectations.
Claim. So she was a $50,000 claim race, and the way she ran, somebody said, "Oh, she's got good promise." Like I think she might do something. And then when we got her, she trained well. When she did her first race, she was like nervous, and then also throughout the first couple races. There's something wrong with her step. What was it called? Like where there's like I forget the name of it, but there's a cross in her step. Like she was like double hopping or something. There was a name, I can't remember the name of it. So it was something with the trainer. And then when we switched trainers from Gus Headley to Carla Gaines, like she fixed the problem.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she had to. You have to train them out of it. It was a bad habit, and I looked it up, and I forget what the name. I'd have to look it up.
I mean, you see how complex and little nuances of
oh
this?
Yeah,
it's just insane.
Because it was something that would like she would run, and then it would like slow her every fourth step would like slow her down.
Someone along the history of the training of the equal line business figured out how to get rid of that problem.
And then we moved her down to 20,000, and then we moved down to the 5,000, and then every race was a claim race because we were like, fuck it, let's just get rid of her, let somebody buy her. And then, but nobody bought her, even though she was winning some lower races. It still was money, And but so that was my first experience with like purchasing that horse. But I see that is the OC or CLM or stakes show like whether you can buy a horse, there's an option to sell her, or stakes is like a big money race.
Right, and again, as a handicapper's point of view, it's important to see what the career trajectory is of the horse.
Yeah. So then the next bold numbers.
In reference to what you're talking about, Fiery Lady, her career is very strange. They started off on 62Ks, optional claimers, kind of like what you did. Yeah. She wouldn't win. She got 6-11, 6-6. They brought her down to 32. She won. Then they take her up just to 40K. Really bad showing, just like her first two races. She lost 7 by 4 horse lengths. Then they brought her again. A 40 and a 32 it's obviously different money, but it's not like if you're a solid a 20 to 70K horse, these races shouldn't be no problem. You should be in class. So then they brought her back into 32K. She won first. They kept her in the 32K. She got second by a nose. Her last, and then they brought her back, and then they brought her up back to her 63K. They stretched her out. They stretched her back out to 1 mile and 16th. Her first race was 1 mile and 16th. She'd seen mile, and then she went back up to 1 mile and 16th. She did well. She finished. She got second. So these owners must have thought, hey, we figured something out here. She's good enough to now go compete in Santa Anita. She's a route. She could probably handle this year. She did, speaking of turf, her first 2 races, by the way, were on some synthetic horse. She didn't like synthetic at all. She got a Breyer reading of 62 and 65. She got 6th place. Obviously, she did not like the synthetic surface at all. They put her on a turf. She gets first. If you're a trainer, you're thinking, oh, she's a turf route horse. We put her on a turf 1 mile, and she loved it. Then for some fucking weird reason,
went back to it.
They went back. Not only did they go back to it, they put her in 6.5, a 6 furlong.
Well, you know, I mean,
Why would you put her in a 6 furlong? Her race style never developed. She went 6-7, 6-7. She never got in a rhythm in that race. It's a total scratch race. Cross that race off of her history. Pretend that race never happened, right?
Yeah. Well, but
fine,
you know, they're just experimenting, dude. Right?
You found something in a mile and turf, and obviously they thought this because right after that race, what did they put her back in?
But maybe they were just saying
What did they
like
put her
maybe
back
it was
in
a
right
fluke,
after that
right?
race?
Oh, their turf.
They went back to a mile and a half because they realized, oh shit, we fucked up. What did she do in that mile? She got first. Yeah. So now something happens.
Maybe they thought also in that other race, the $40,000. Maybe they thought they were weak $40,000 horses. Maybe they thought it was a race that she could win.
Check it out.
You know.
Check it out. So you keep going over. Her odds that day, by the way, she was 24 to 1.
So that's shit.
That's shit.
So,
That was not a good race.
That was a stupid decision.
Do you see how how the paperwork tells you the story? So now you go back. Now they realize.
Where did you see the 24.6? That was her odds?
You see it after?
Yeah.
After her race? That was her going off. That was her odds that she went off on that day.
Oh, and also L123 is her weight?
L is for this famous Lasix drug.
Oh, that's the drug. Okay, so
and it shows her that was on Lasix.
Yeah, so later after, you'll see the name Alvaro. Like you'll see a jockey name.
That's the jockey name.
And then you'll see a L whatever, and that's a type of like
drug.
They've
drugged her.
And then next to that drug is a number that
that's
shows you 24.6 is not her weight.
No, that's her odds
she
went off on.
Yeah.
That's the longest odds that she's ever done.
Except for actually here.
When they first brought her into the Santa Anita.
Yeah. And she got third place.
And then what do you see after the odd number?
89. Oh, it depends which one. Let's look at the
2460.
Yeah, 85 and 10.
So these are weird numbers. The 80, they are. These are the very experimental numbers that the Daily Racing Form.
So this is a new thing?
They're very strong.
This is a new thing?
They're very powerful numbers if they're correct. They're very hard for me to understand. The first one, not so much. It's the overall Breyer rating of the race. So the guy who won that day
was a 93.
Who was Impacticos. They have it abbreviated here. Impactos. It shows you who got first, second, and third. So Impacticos, I don't know, they abbreviated. I don't know what exactly
Impacticos. Okay.
Her race, she got 85 Breyer. Yeah. The winner of that race. This next number shows the quality of the race. The quality overall of that ticket. The competition. Mm-hmm. So the lower the number, the more competitive that race was. 10 is average. Sure. 3 is like her first race she just came off of. You see a 3.
The last one. That's actually the last race. One. Yeah, I see. So 89, good Breyer. Actually, 89 is higher Breyer than she's ever done.
Gypsy Blue got an 89.
Yeah.
Gypsy Blue's in this race.
I know. That's what I'm saying. And then also, but that was a very competitive race.
Very. And you see how the second horse in that race, SY Sky.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see SY Sky.
What is the type like? What is it doing?
It's a italics.
So the italics type shows you that race, its next race that it raced, won.
So that horse really
won.
So if you see italics on the horses that raced in the race against the horse you're looking at, that means it won the very following race, and it also only lost by like a half of a length.
By a full horse. And then what does it say?
Not even. Look, it says Gypsy Blue won by a half of a length.
Right. You're right.
Yeah.
It's not. It's the horse behind that. Is that what that's showing?
Yeah.
So he won basically by a half a horse. You're right.
Ooh. So that horse looks like a pretty good horse as well. SY Sky.
So this is another handicap that people do. People will go, "Oh, SY Sky. When does this horse race again?"
And then you put some money on them.
What's cool is on some of the websites here, you could put horses and you could follow their career.
Oh yeah, there's Equibase is an app/website where you could.
Probably the only good thing about that fucking website is this feature.
Yeah, is you can follow trainers, owners,
right,
and horses and tracks. Like, and so like Equibase, it was an app that I was following my horse and trainer because they train other horses too. So if you have a trainer that you see is pretty successful, you could say, well, I want to see what other horses they're training. So it's like you can really get deep into the like the stats, because this dude, horse racing is a super stat based thing. Gambling
information.
Yeah,
it's tons of information, and it's like a detective case. What are you going to do with the information? How are you going to process the information? And it's a lot about what the conditions of the track is, what the race is,
what type of horse is racing on, like what type
what
of
are the
track.
trainers doing? Why is this trainer putting this horse?
Who
in?
they've raced against in the past, what the caliber of the races that they were racing,
right?
So
whether
they
the last
close.
line that you see
For which race are we looking at?
For the last race of Fiery Lady.
So the 31st of March. So this
31st
is which is about 2 months ago, by the way. That's a long time between races, right? Sometimes once a month. They want to try to do once a month usually.
Once a month is kind of desperate.
Okay,
That's
so then we
handicap.
were definitely desperate.
Yeah, it's another handicap there too.
It's
depending on the trainer.
Last line led into
that's an experience of a trainer.
So the very last line of each race date,
Right.
this last one that she did said led into STR, outkicked. Led into the straight, but outkicked.
Right.
What's outkicked mean?
She got out. That's exactly what it says.
You mean she just didn't? She was not fast enough.
She got outkicked.
So that means outkicking.
When they turn the final turn.
Yeah.
Into the straight, into the final race, when everyone starts cheering, that's called the straight. When they make that turn and you're following number 6, you're looking for, they'll be in a rhythm. You'll see their...
And then you'll just see one pull away, and that means they got outkicked.
No, you'll look at their legs. You'll look at them kicking, their gallop, if you will. Yeah. And you'll notice that you want your horse, you'll see, here guys, kick. And you'll see the horse literally kick. His gallop will change and go faster, and literally kicking off as if he was a sprinter in the prone position, and he kicks off.
Yeah.
And if your horse doesn't kick and he just seems to be the average speed of the pack, he's gonna lose. You want to see your horse have that last moment. That's why closers like Zenyatta were so awesome to see, because not only would she kicked from the back of the field, and you see her move to the left of the pack. And she just
turned it on.
Boom. She raced 2 races that day. She raced around the track and
she finished. So, do you want to take a look at Gypsy Blue right now, really quick? Since she seems to be
out all these horses, Gypsy, you're right.
Well, I'm just for now because I say Fire Lady has a superior jockey who worked for her, but at a lower Briar and at a lower caliber race.
Well, can we before we move to do Blue, because we were just
we're learning.
We were doing the point of showing the horse history, what the horse has done. And what we were talking
I'm
about,
learning here, dude. Because even though I owned a horse, I knew nothing about it. That was more for fun, but I want to learn. It's very interesting.
Big move what you did. Like I would never think of doing that, and I've been messing around with the horses for a while, and I would never think of...
Well, to anybody who's interested in buying horses, I had a piece of advice.
Learn to read the fucking Daily Racing Form.
That's number 1, but number 2 is... Well, actually, that's number 2, because actually... Well, both. These are equally important. If you break even, you're lucky. You're lucky if you own a horse to break even. I'm just telling you.
I mean, look, I'm telling you that Mike Smith is great at a 30% win percent.
That's what I'm saying. Well, that's what I'm saying.
That's a low percentage, and I mean, but that is a great percentage in horse racing.
But when I first heard that he had raced her before, and he won at a low Briar rating in a lower race, but that he knows horses, and that you said, hey, there must have been something to get him out of bed to make him come to this. She's something to look at.
She's something, exactly.
I would put her in a pick 6. I would put her in possibly.
She's dangerous.
Yeah, and then she's
a contender.
Yeah, so you want to talk about a little bit more of the history.
I just wanted to finish the point of going through her own personal experience, her own personal race history. Because if you look at these horses like as people, you see their personality, and then all of a sudden, it's not such an irregular thing to see. Like when you look at a horse race and you don't know anything about horses, it seems random. It's like roulette. Any number could win.
Well, you can take it that way. You can play it that way, but
you could, and people are. But if you wanted to dive deeper into the real sport, and you start to see and you start to learn the history of each horse, you start to understand them, and you start to actually fall in love with the horse. You start to root for the horse, and then it becomes something different than just showing up and gambling. because you're following this player. You're following. You're a Dodger fan. You're following Kershaw from when he was a rookie to this day. When Kershaw pitches, you pay attention. Now, maybe you don't have time to watch a game, but you look at the results because you don't know Kershaw. He could be a fucking serial killer running around killing people, but you like him because you followed him. Just like Zenyatta, I followed her.
Besides like all those aspects and the nuances and extraneous or the extra stats that you follow, Vegas does have like a horse gambling game that's based just like roulette.
Right, I seen it.
And it's just a game with little horses.
Well,
there's nothing similar to this.
They kind of focus on the handicapping aspects of the odds.
Yeah.
And
but
the position of the horse.
Yeah, but none of them are mutters or turfs or they're just toys.
The Vegas thing is playing off because again,
it's like roulette.
There's literally hundreds of handicapping angles that you could play. Some people are traditional where they stick to a certain pattern. But like if you're smart like a detective and you put things together, you could realize what you're up against. Like for instance, like when you're in Vegas and what you're playing in that game.
The machine one.
The machine one with the 10 fucking
the
horses in it. Yeah. What you're really playing is the position of the horse on the track and what the odds of the machine's giving you. So if you have a high, I don't ever play the game, so I don't know if they give you much information. No. But what I'm trying to say is,
I played it. You just pick your horses. It's like
look,
roulette.
there is a little bit of the angle. If you have a high odds, like if you have a 9-5 horse who's on position number 8, or on the outside of the rail, that's going to take a special horse to win that race. Yeah. Where if you don't know what's going on in a race, you always go for the speed. If you want to be lazy, you just want to put money on, and you want to do a half-ass handicap, you look for the speed in the race. And if that speed is on the rail, that's a strong bet. Same thing with the Vegas machine.
So position's big too then.
Positions, it's big, but it's such a fluid game that, like the Kentucky Derby just got the favorite horse won. He got disqualified 20 minutes after because he did a little lane shift on the stretch. In my opinion, it was a little overcall. I don't think it was a call I would have made. I think because it was a sloppy, really bad conditions. I think the horse not intentionally shifted lanes. I don't think the jockey shifted the lane to impede the other horses.
So you're not allowed to shift lanes until?
No. I mean, you're not allowed to impede another horse's advancement. You're allowed to put yourself in a position to block out a horse. But if a horse is running in and you just fucking change your lane and cut him off, it's not because it's a safety thing.
So you're saying that the horse did it unintentionally, you think?
Yeah, but I looked at it. It looked like the horse kind of like, because it was on the turn. It was super muddy.
Yeah, so she could have tripped or something. If you listen to the handicap,
everyone's looking for mutters in the paperwork. They're like, who's the mutter? Who's the mutter? They're looking for the history. There's this fantasy that every handicapper has that they pick the long shot who's 9 for 9 horses, never won a single horse in 9 races, but one race, and it just happened to be a mud race because the horse likes to run in mud. They call them mutters. They only win when literally these horses exist.
I've heard about that.
They only run because they like the way, just like at Del Mar. Some horses only run good at Del Mar because they like the way the sea breeze. They like the way the air is. It's the same. I think it has something to do with the British horses. Some of them not coming over and translating as well as they hoped they would because it's not so cold over here. Maybe I don't know. You know, it's simple athletic stuff. You know, you're running in fucking Bakersfield. You get used to running in Bakersfield, and you go up north. It might be too cold for you, or vice versa. Obviously, it's harder to run in the heat. You know, you got used to it. Those fucking Apaches running around with those shoes on. Fuckers could run.
So what more about is there any
I'm
more?
Sorry,
No, you're not digressing, dude. We're talking.
Outkicked. These final lines are pretty important because they could either break your support for the horse or really let you forgive a horse. Outkicked, to me, he was outgamed. To me, Gypsy Blue is a better horse. Oh, I'm sorry.
Praft is a good jockey as well.
A good jockey. He could control it. He could hold his game up against Smith. So again, back to the history of the horse. Learning about this horse. We're talking about the horse most of his career was in Golden Gates. 2018, that's all he did was Golden Gates. He's a San Francisco horse, if you will. His last race, he raced a 1.16 miles. That's an average, your day-to-day route race. Everyone does a 1.16 miles. Then you start building up from there to see who the real fucking thoroughbred route race is. Belmont's 2-mile race. That's the longest race in the country.
The Belmont Stakes.
Or the third. I'm sorry, I'm wrong. Because I don't follow East Coast. I'm more of a Southern California dude. It's what's the third of the Triple Crown, the Preakness?
Preakness.
So that's the longest race because it keeps moving up and up and up. That Preakness is the longest 2-mile race, long race.
Yeah.
If you do Santa Anita, the horses would run around the track twice.
That's a long track.
That's crazy. They run around twice.
Yeah.
But the Preakness is so big, it's huge. So they run 1/16. Golden Gates was the last race he's seen. For some reason, the same owners. He didn't get traded. He did get traded after. What's it called here? Claim from Williams. Williams kind of was messing around with him. Kind of figured out that the horse is pretty good at 1 mile in turf. Traded to Speckett Steve. Steve's running divisions. Williams still owns him, but doesn't train him. So this horse is still in the family, if you will. Just kind of trading hands within the family. Because if you see the breeder is Mr. and Mrs. Larry B. Williams. While Williams, Mr. and Larry B. were training them, this horse got claimed from them in Golden Gates to Steve, but Steve works for them, so it's in the same family for some reason.
It says
and then
Steve
the trainer is
Spect Steve.
Yeah, see right here it says claimed after maybe
I
1,
see
2.
claimed from Williams,
Right,
Mr.
so he was
and
on a
Mrs. Larry
claiming
D
race.
for $32,000. So he got claimed after that Golden Gates race.
Yes, and this
who's
Spec
Spec
Steve is the one who got the horse from him.
And it says trainer.
That's the trainer as of 11/29.
But it's not a Williams. Where do you see that it's in the family?
Oh, so go to the top.
Yeah.
The top here where you see dark brown or dark
Macaulay Mickelson or John Cavalli et al., which is just that's
those are the that's the barn
those
owner.
are the owners.
The breeder is Mr. and Miss.
Well, they
just
were the breeder.
Spread it. You're right.
Yeah.
They
so the owners,
it.
there's a bunch of people. It's not just
right. It's Macaulay Mickelson or John. You're right. You corrected me on that.
Well, no,
they own it.
I just know that because my name was up there once.
So that's cool. You should have saved that and put it in the frame. The breeder, you're right, is Larry B.
Yeah, so they started it, but it did get transferred. So it's not in the family.
Over. So
it's all right.
It's not a family anymore.
Good.
So then,
as we all know, Landon's an idiot.
He raced 2 more races in Golden Gates. He raced in a mile and then a 1.16 miles he was supposed to race in turf, but they put him on the dirt. For some fucking reason, I don't know why, they bring him to Santa Anita. Not only did they bring him to Santa Anita, but they put him in a stakes 151K.
But the first
on a 6.5.
And it got 3rd place.
He got 3rd place with 2, but you got beat by 2 lengths.
But it also did fairly well. It only did better.
There's a competitor today who actually beat him, Queen Bee to you.
I see that. That was in that race.
That was in that race, but it's a sprint race.
Yeah, but where's Queen Bee?
When you're running routes, dude.
Here's Queen Bee to you.
When you're running routes, sprint races don't mean shit.
Hey, Queen Bee was also in that race that lost to Gypsy Blue. She was on the.
She got 5th.
Yeah.
So guess who came back and beat her? Yeah, the Fairy Lady.
Yeah, but Gypsy Blue seemed to have done well against this other horse as well. So
Fiery Lady improved in some respects.
What about this Queen Bee to you, her Briars numbers are way but it's not improving. Let me just
finish one little thought real quick.
No, please do.
Finishing my thought is that it's really weird, and it's like this is the question you sit there and you fight yourself about. Why did the owners bring him to Santa Anita and put him in 6.5 furlong sprint? And now he's going into 1 mile today. Turf, which he has shown to like.
Maybe those 6.5 furlongs and similar to that 6 furlong race that it didn't do well in. Maybe that's like they're trying to train her to like sprinting a little more or something.
I think they're trying to make some quick bucks and trying to get the horse to acclimate at the same time.
I do see one of them.
Why the fuck would they put him at 151K? To me, that's a big race, and to put him in a situation that this horse has never done.
But since they hit that third place, it's like you said, maybe they figured something out. They made money off of that, not a lot.
And then he came back and won first with Mike Smith.
Yeah, so that's so they probably got
sprint.
What do you think they got? Like they probably got 20 or 40,000 out of that. Out
of the 151. Well, it shows you. Like for instance, this race here, it's 100K. It shows you for California state breds only. Let me see what it says. It tells you third place, fifth place you get 2,000. Third you get 12. Second you get 20. To the winner you get 100 to 60 guaranteed. So it tells you. So you get about 20,000 for getting second place.
And that was a decent showing in a big race. And then they made the easy money on the $40,000 race.
But my point of me showing you the life history of this horse is you see how complex you could be sitting at one race going back and forth. Well, so now go ahead and take it from here.
Well, let's go.
I just wanted to illustrate to you.
I like it.
How deep you could get into something, and if you're not honest with yourself, and look by the way, look who beat Queen Bee to you. Look who beat her.
Where are we looking at?
Oh, I'm sorry. In Fairy Lady's race,
it
was the race that she raced Queen Bee to you. She raced the 151 6.5 furlong.
I see that the very first Santa Anita race, Queen Bee to you.
Yeah.
She beat Fiery Lady in the first race.
She beat her, but look who beat Queen Bee to you. SY Sky.
So we're seeing SY Sky.
And look who beat SY Sky. No, we're not seeing her.
No,
SY Sky is a pretty good horse.
We're seeing SY Sky in other races, I'm saying.
Right. And look, in Gypsy Blue, the last race that
beat SY Sky.
Yeah.
So that's showing that Queen Bee has...
Gypsy Blue's strong is the main competitor.
Yeah. Well, let's see these.
So you want to go Gypsy Blue now?
No. Let's actually go really quick. Maybe take a step back to number 4, Queen Bee to you, just quickly, just to see, because we see in the same thing. Gypsy Blue beat Queen Bee to you as well as Fiery Lady. Fiery Lady beat Queen Bee to you in that race Fiery Lady was 4th place. Queen Bee to you was 5th place. But earlier, Queen Bee to you beat Fiery Lady in the very first race that they raced at Santa Anita together.
Right.
It looks like Queen Bee to you started off at Santa Anita, at least she's
SoCal horse.
She did Santa Anita and then Del Mar a couple times. What's LRC?
I don't know.
I don't know that place. And then a couple more at Santa Anita. All turfs except mostly turfs, and then there's a couple blank, which
blanks are dirt.
So there's blanks or dirt, but she seems to like there's things going on with turf. Let's see what we have here.
I don't know what that bold...
What's Cordity in this race? Bolds are horses that are in this race?
No, I don't know. You know how it says...
Cordiality is in this race. It's the number 1 horse. So any horse that's a bold is a horse that is in this race.
Right.
Yeah.
There was a different bold number that I'm talking about.
I'm sorry. A bold name on the very right is a horse that is in the race now. And Cordiality is a 3-1. And
contender. There's a lot of contenders in the
Queen Bee is a 4-1. But we see Fiery Lady seems to have improved. But I'm going to say this: her Briar rating is a higher average than Fiery Lady. Fiery Lady seems to be inconsistent in her Briar ratings.
I don't like that 69.
Yeah. Well, there's also a 61, 65, and a 62, which seems like it's almost like they hold her back. Because those are races with lower Briar rated horses. Well,
when you run your sprint races, you should be seeing higher Briars.
So now let's go to Gypsy Blue.
Well, no, Queen Bee to you is interesting.
Oh, you want to take a talk about her? Let's talk about her.
It's nice because she's not to be sold short. She might not be lighting up the circuit, but man, she competes.
She had a few second and first places.
Look, she came second by only 2 horse lengths to Cordiality.
But look at the style of races. They were all very low. What's this first one? I don't even know what the hell that is. There was a 16K race, stakes race. A stakes race. What's the very first one in May? 5,
May.
6,
you mean
3.
3rd of May?
Yeah.
18.
What is that? 5, 6, 3, 4, 5, N, 1, X.
Wait, what are you talking about?
What type of race was this stakes race? What is that? Because I see 16K, 40K.
Wait, are you talking about May 3rd?
Yeah.
The very first race she's raced? That's are you talking about the FS allowance?
No. It's in the middle. Like after you see those 4 times, it shows F, which is a filly. S is stakes, and then it says A allowance. Yeah, what is that?
An allowance race is like a step in between an optional claimer and a stakes race. They're fun races. They're pretty fun. They're pretty good quality horses. Yeah. Allowance race.
And she did a very like the lowest Briar rating she did, and that was her first one off.
Yeah, but
look, Queen BTU was in that race. Oh, no, wait, she got second place.
That's what we're looking at.
Yeah, she got second place, and she went to win her next race.
She got second place.
Yeah.
She lost by 7 horse lengths to what is that? Stir of Quality? I don't know what the
but then the next race.
I'm curious to know how good Stir of Quality is.
I don't think it matters because it seems like a low. Because the next race was a 16K. And she won that one. Like you said,
really low.
Easy money.
That's
like you
really
said.
Low.
But she ran at 83 Briar, which is good.
She closed in the field. She ran at 83 Briar. But dude, it's 6.5 furlong turf. I'm not really like, okay, good. Good for you.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. And then he had another 5 furlong on turf.
In Del Mar.
Yeah, and she lost. Because you said Del Mar is not a true track.
It's not that it's a true track.
Honest,
it's a very it's a hard track to it's not that.
And she didn't do well at Del Mar at all.
Well, she did okay. Her next race wasn't bad. Look what she jumped on.
And she lost to the number 1 horse, Cordiality.
Yeah, but she showed good in that one. So like this is weird. Look at this. So they race her a mile in dirt at an allowance 56K. You know, okay, that's respectable. And then they take her to 6.5 furlong turf. Maybe they thought, oh, well, maybe she's a turf horse. She does have turf blood. She's rated a 318 turf blood. So she does have turf braid in her. I'll tell you what that means right now.
Sure.
6.5. So they'd probably think, oh, let's just put her in a 16K. See if that breeding of turf blood is true. She seemed to show true. She closed on a sprint race, whatever. So in Del Mar, she went down even lower at a 5 turf because of the competitiveness at Del Mar they're actually more competitive races in Santa Anita. Mm-hmm. It's such a tight, short schedule. You get people bringing their horses in they love the Del Mar track. Del Mar, the city itself, is a very they're really strong in their horse racing.
I'm seeing those quality of races were pretty good.
40K at Del Mar is it's average good. She got 5. She won 5th. Let's see here. The top Briar that day was a 94, which is really strong. In tight, in the 5th to 16th of the race, she got out kicked. Okay, so she wasn't a competitor that day, whatever. And then this is what strikes me as weird, is then all of a sudden they bring her up to a 151 mile, 1 mile turf. So maybe these first 3 races, they were conditioning her for this particular stakes.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't care what the fuck she did. Yeah. They were just giving her experience.
And she got second place.
She got second. She ran a good race. She stood in the front. She stalked, as they say. She stalked the pack in 3rd place, and she finished in 2nd. She got beat by Cordiality. She got pulled. See, and then what does the trip line says? She pulled early, gained 2nd. That means that she pulled her head up while down the straight and still fought back to get 2nd. Cordiality, who is a contender today.
Yeah,
that's a good race.
Yeah.
She could have won that race. So that's a big, I'm gonna put a big plus symbol next to 10th of August Del Mar. She went back to Del Mar to turf and went back down to an optional claimer. She 40K. She stalked 3rd and then gave up 6th, 8, and 6. She went off at a 4-1 odd today, so people thought she was gonna win that day. Forward third weekend. So that's an open line. There's not much explanation there. For some reason, she weakened, and we don't know why.
So on a side note, are there workout times on this somewhere?
Yeah.
Works. I see the works.
Yep.
And they don't do any secret workouts, right? Because I'm like, how would they know that she would be rad? How would they know if she would be rad on the 1 mile? Like, how did they know that?
Because you sign up. You go, oh, hey, you go to the steward office and you go, hey, I'm gonna work my horse out Tuesday morning. Yeah. I want to work her out for 6 furlongs. Put me in the lineup. Okay, you're gonna be with Group B. There's gonna be, you notice how it says 16 out of 48 in her first workout. Yeah. It says May 4th, Santa Anita. She worked out for 5 furlongs on a fast track. At 5 furlongs, it took her 1 minute and 1 second to run those 5 furlongs, she had an H, which means that she was getting handled. That means that the jockey was asking of her. And she got 16 out of 48 horses that day. That means her timing was 16th best.
H is handily.
They handled her.
Yeah, because I always saw that when my horse was training or working out, she did it handily. So yeah, they were working. I've seen that before.
So
cool. That's good to know this because it looks different than when I get my notification.
Right, she worked handily.
Because when you have Equibase, it'll notify you of their workouts as well, I think.
Yes.
So you'll get a notice, hey, this horse worked out. This was its time. That's actually another thing.
I think I need to be corrected there. I think you're correct. I think it's handily meaning that she did, because I thought it used to be B for breeze. She would do it for as a breeze, but handily is like as if she just handled it
I don't know the term exactly, except I asked about it when I first saw it. I never saw our horse was always handily. Always handily.
Well, I'm looking at all these. They're all... I have to relook that up. There's just so much. I have to look that up.
Well, I'm looking at like another horse.
Like there's an HG with the small G. I don't know what that means.
And then SA. I don't know what SA.
SA is Santa Anita.
No, but I see so workouts May 5th, Santa Anita. Oh,
right.
So they said that because she worked at some other one too, I guess.
No, she worked out. Well, in your horse maybe, but this particular horse.
Oh, this one. Okay, I see that. Never mind. I see that. But so there's SA, Santa Anita.
And really, like, there's books that are made about how to handicap by the workouts.
Sure.
But, like, for the average guy, I would say...
Don't worry about it.
No, it's not that. You want to see your horse working out consistently up to the race.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to find a horse in this race that has a good workout so you can see what a good workout...
I held off on Gypsy Blue. Let's take a look at Gypsy Blue really quick.
Okay, but, again, for Queen Bee to you... It's a very strange. She has a very interesting work history. Again, her last turf was at 40K. She came 8th, but beaten by 6 horse lengths in 8th place. Then they brought her to some mystery track that we don't know yet. She ran in another mile. She likes. This is what I wanted to point out. She does like miles. Every time she's raced a mile besides that 8th, she didn't. It's your mile. 3, 4, 1, 5, 1, 2, 3, 2. She competes, man. She's always in. It's rare that she's not in on the grandstand, except for her last race. Her last race sucked. It was on a sprint, 6.5. It was in the O'Brien with Gypsy Blue, and with Fiery Lady. We're starting to see classmates. We're starting to see people. A lot of these horses sometimes are part of a class. They've all came up to school with each other. They've all raced each other, and you could see consistencies within those students, within those classmates. Who's the smarter one of them? Who runs here? Who's strong? Who's a fighter? Who gives up? So you see right now we're having Fiery Lady, Queen Bee to you, Congeniality, and Gypsy Blue. They're all classmates, and they've all seen each other.
It's a cordiality.
Cordiality. You see all these guys. They've all raced they all know each other. And the point to that's big, because now you see that these 1, 2, 3, 4 horses. And I'm sure when we get into the other horses, we're going to find maybe 5 or 6.
Yeah, because I see Algorithmic has faced Gypsy Blue, lost, and that horse was in that same race, Algorithmic, but was 6th. I'm just looking at some of these other horses.
So you start to see that these horses, all of a sudden, this race is getting pretty honest.
Bella Luma was also in that March 9th. No, this is different. Was in this turf Santa Anita race where Queen Bee and Fiery Lady were there and lost to Sky. Bella Luma's raced against them. Fiery Lady, there's Fiery Lady. Halo Darling was also in that race with Queen Bee and Fiery Lady, and where Sai Sky won.
Oh yeah, she came in 8th.
Pulpit Rider.
Look what she said. Look what it says.
Yeah.
Save ground weakened.
Look, Pulpit Rider.
I mean, she never had a fucking chance.
Pulpit Rider was also in that race with Queen Bee and Fiery Lady.
Hello, Darling, to me is a scratched horse. She has not shown. If she wins, I'm going to be baffled.
Well, that's why she's 15-1.
Well, not. I mean, that's
you
not
weren't
that
the only
bad
one.
of
Well, there's
odds.
also 15-1 on Sapphire Kid.
That's what I mean. That's not like that's a crazy low. I think she's going to go off, to be honest with you, 20 to 30-1 because there's not much to support Hello, Darling.
So look at Sapphire Kid as number 2. Has done all these very low stakes races.
That means that her Briars aren't that honest.
And one of them was a 56 Briar in their second race, and she hasn't faced anybody in this race at all.
She's a wild card. She
Watch her.
don't know who she is.
We'll watch her show up.
She's what I do to this one right here is I'll put L/S. That means long shot. I'll consider her as a possible long shot. It doesn't take me anything to put a $2 bet on her.
Sure.
And if she wins,
That's $30.
no, let's say she goes off 20-1.
Oh, because
Let's say she goes off to. Let's just say for some reason you show up in the track, and I've had this happen, and it's 70-1.
Oh yeah.
Sapphire Kid can do something.
Yeah.
She ain't no 70.
No.
Do you think she's a 71 horse?
No, somebody else also said that they put some money on
It's worth $2.
99-1. If you see like a 99-1, it's worth $2 always. I sneak it. I guess you got to look at their past races. So look,
You rarely see a 99-1 horse unless it's over 20 or 15 to 10 horses in the field.
yeah. Okay,
Go ahead.
Yeah, no. So let's move on. I want to move on to the favorite. I want to talk about it.
All right. Well, seemingly.
The seemingly favorite.
Right.
So far, she's
Start from the beginning.
She's outclassed
What number
these
is she?
horses. She's number 9.
What's her name?
Gypsy Blue.
Who owns her?
The owner is Haley or Wood.
Okay. And
One of those two.
keep going down that list. What is her morning line?
Where do we see Morning Line at?
You've read me her number. You've read me her name. You've read me the owner.
Oh, 5-2 you're talking about.
That's her morning line.
Okay, I didn't know that was the morning line. So yeah, so she has 5-2 odds on the morning line.
And then it's
That's like you will not get a big return on your investment if you bet to win.
5-2 ain't that bad.
It's fine, but it's almost like blackjack. You win blackjack.
Right.
You know?
Right. That's
like
a great way
3-2.
of putting it.
3-2 is blackjack, but
And then it shows you what the jockey's colors are for this particular owner. It says Royal Blue, MG on white diamond.
okay.
So for whatever reason, if you're looking for a white diamond out there, you know who the fuck Gypsy Blue is.
So we're seeing on that the first couple races were Del Mar and it won the first race that is on this sheet, first place,
Okay.
and it won by three lengths, almost 4 lengths, 3 3/4 lengths.
Of a horse length.
Yeah, and it was a stakes, and it said MD. I don't know what MD 50,000.
Oh, it's a maiden. It's a maiden.
Oh, the maiden race.
It's a maiden race. So only fillies are allowed to race.
And she did a good job. And
She
but the
did,
Briar was low.
She did average.
Look at the next.
Can I show you? Can
Yeah.
I show you her 6 for a long run?
What
number?
is? Why does she have such low Briar numbers? Actually,
That's what I'm trying to tell you. That she did
Yeah.
very average in that. And see, I just looked up through her distance.
Yeah.
She's not a proven route horse.
Wow. So there's no guarantee that she's going to do. You know what though?
A sprint horse moving up to routes is a big fucking jump. Because it's the difference between there's 2 different horses. There's a sprint horse and a route horse. If sprint horses, they just don't do good in routes.
Well,
They're
because
built for speed and short.
what's going to happen is
distance.
speed and short, and then it'll just continue while another horse will kind of pace, and then boom,
Right.
close on the end.
Right.
And then that horse will be out of gas.
Right.
But you know what?
That's
dude?
not always true. Like
No,
there's speeds who
yeah.
are true 2-mile speed horses. Those are badass horses.
But I'm thinking, I've seen horses like this that we say this, and then they just kill everybody. You know what I'm saying? Am I wrong?
No, you're absolutely right. And
Yeah. I'm not saying it's
I'm
going
not
to happen.
discounting Gypsy Blue because okay. We're getting ahead of ourselves, like you just said. So
Yeah.
we're going.
I'm doing anecdotal bullshit evidence. When
No.
it's like,
We're at the very first race she's raced, which is Del Mar 6 furlong.
And Del Mar's hard to win.
It's not. It's a serious track. It's not. It's not some cheap track.
So, but 42 Breyer is terrible. That's terrible.
What did she place?
Sixth as well.
And how many horse lengths?
18.
Why?
So she probably just gave up or something.
Keep going. On that line.
Hold on.
What does it say in her? Look at what it says.
Said she was in 5th and 6th, and then she just dropped back.
And
it was
then
like he pulled her or something.
What does it say?
Pulled.
What does it say? Steeded early.
Oh, I don't have the
Steeded
early, but
means
steeded
like
early.
she literally stopped.
She just stopped.
But she still finished.
Well, that's good.
Because if she didn't, it would just show a dash.
Yeah.
But
so she did. There was something that like happened.
Something happened.
So
maybe something wasn't tied right.
Yeah. So
maybe she was tied.
So it doesn't matter.
You can forgive her.
Yeah. The way you said you can forgive her.
You can forgive her. For now.
So what is that next
Remember,
race?
we haven't seen the third race. Even though we can see
Yeah.
the results right now, in our mind, we're pretending that we haven't seen her third race that she's raced.
So what is this stocked pace? What is that on the next one?
She stalked the pace of the race.
Yeah.
So she stood in the middle pack, which shows it. It shows her 4, 5, 6, 6. She sat in the middle of the fucking
She
pack.
kind of chilled.
Didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And then she weakened.
Mm-hmm.
So
maybe she had a bad ankle or something.
Wow.
I mean,
Whoever.
So then they changed.
Hoffman, David.
They changed trainers.
He's like, I'm done with this horse. Now, they put her in 250K allowances. Those are high expectations.
Yeah.
Those are high expectations.
Yeah, they're good. Those are good. Those are good races.
Whoever was trading her had really liked this horse.
You're learning some stuff, aren't you?
No, I'm waiting for you.
Oh, you're waiting for me.
Because I'm trying to go through the work history with her.
Yeah. Okay. So then the next
she got traded.
And then she had a new trainer. And her new trainer is, I see Glatt Mark as the current trainer. So I guess maybe that's the new trainer.
No.
No.
For some reason, they didn't put who picked the horse up.
Yeah, because then it says she was, okay, so because she was claimed later. So let's go, we don't know the next trainer. But Gypsy Blue won the next race, but it says 1NK. 1NK.
Oh, never won in a year. It's this weird abbreviation. It's like no wins in. It's like no wins out of the last year.
Because in operandi it says NO,
thing.
and then there's another NK.
It's a way to try to show the progression of the horse.
But look, it says off step slow. What does it say? Off step slow.
Up, forward. So he had a very bad. He stumbled out of the gate.
Okay, and still won.
And fought from 7, 6, 5, and won by a neck.
Yeah.
1NK. That says neck. He won by a neck. He beat.
Oh, neck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look at what happened in third and second and third. Those two horses. He won by a nose. The third horse.
That's what NK
won
is.
by a neck. It was literally these 4 horses like this.
Yeah.
They fucking finished.
And that was an optional
Gypsy Blue,
claim.
It was an optional claim. It was a 5 furlong, which is a
20,000.
really short race.
In turf.
In turf. I don't know why. Well, I could tell you why they tried him in turf. Because I want to show you a turf number. Look to the upper right corner.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see how it says D at fast?
Yep.
And then it says wet. And then it says synthetic. And then it says dirt or turf.
And then dirt.
And then dirt to turf.
Yeah.
She has a 325. That's her like genetic pool, her number, her rating on how genetically she's bred it. Her bloodline is rated that number in the turf. 325 is good. Like 400, that horse is purebred turf horse. Doesn't mean that the horse is going to run good in turf. It's just showing that she has the blood to do it.
Yeah.
If you see 230, 100, the horse has no turf breeding. He's a pure dirt horse.
It says wet 351, but it doesn't show that it's raced on any wet tracks.
He hasn't
But the 351 is a good rating for wet. So in her blood, she might be a good wet.
Which is not unusual because I don't find it that unusual because when the turf horse is good, it's a strong horse, which means that it can run in mud. The reason why some horses who run dirt don't like mud is because the mud sucks their hoof in, and they don't like it.
So, dude, check. So then it was purchased for 20,000, or his claim for 20 G's from Corriner to Brian and Lyons and Janet. So now it's owned by some new people.
Well, we skipped a race. She won the 20K.
Yeah.
She came back, fought back crazy. Same jockey again. They put her in a 7 furlong. They stretched her out because she has ran in a 7 furlong.
Yeah.
They stretched her out in an allowance 50K. Back to the allowance 50K.
It's just 3 wide.
She had a 55 Briar. She went 4, 3, 5, 6. She never had a chance. She 3 wide, meaning that she got pushed out 3 wide of the pack. And she weakened. So she never showed anything. For some reason, the trainer bailed on her. And now here we are now. Her last 3 races. She's back at Santa Anita, January 9th of 2019. They have her back in 6.5 furlongs for the next 3 races. She ran a 20, a 50, and they brought her up to 102 O'Brien. She's been doing great. She's a hard-nosed closer, meaning that her third race ago was 3-3-1-1, and then 4-4-1-1, and then her very last race was a 9-9-6-1. She rallied. This is just a very emotional horse. This fucking horse shows no consistency. I mean, we just read her horse history. Off step slow, stock pace weekend, drifted in, led clear, rallied. She's very dramatic. Finicky horse.
Finicky. I see it.
Right?
You don't know who's going to show up.
Don't know when she show up.
If
Her
she-
last
or if
three
she-
fire, her last 2 though are some of the best in the field. She's 86, 85. But, dude, she's a sprint horse. She has no route history, which I don't like. When you're betting over a mile, when you're betting thoroughbreds, when you're betting route horses, I always go away from these sprint horses. This horse has never raced. The last time she even came close to racing a mile was 7 furlongs in dirt. She got 6th place. This horse is a sprint horse. I don't even think she's gonna get 4th fucking place, dude. That's how much I've fallen off of Gypsy Blue.
It's like, but would you still put her on a pick 6?
And look at Fiery Lady. She's done some mild turf. Yeah, she's got beaten bad by Gypsy and Queen to Be, but these are out of her game.
Short races.
She's not a 6. She's a route horse. She doesn't turn her game on until after 6.5.
Boom. So she might. That other horse might
She's
be in
beatable.
the lead. Yeah.
Queen to Be You is. She's a mile vet. She's done a lot of miles. I like Queen Bee to You out of Fury and Blue because she has simply because she has
Tons of mile races.
Tons of mile races.
Yeah.
I'm looking now in this race. What I'm looking now for, Bobby, is the best 1 mile turf through experience. I don't care if this horse is 15-1. Look at how nice Sapphire Kid is looking.
Sapphire Kid, that's the number 2.
She's looking good, dude.
And
Look at
15-1.
mile and a half. A mile and 1/8. That's a long race, dude.
And she's got some
She
good
came
briars.
4th.
Consistent briars. She's kind of gotten better. There's a couple little.
Let's go through her history. Her first race was a mile in dirt. Allowance 3, she got 1st. Her second race was Del Mar. Optional claimers to Heart. She got 8th and 17. There was no reason to. She just was outclassed in that race, big time. Del Mar, mile in turf, 45K. Made a big fight back from 11th to 5. That was a big. She got outfinished, but she ran a big race, even though she didn't place.
Look at her numbers are getting better consistently throughout the races.
She's improving. She's getting stronger. It's taking her a while.
So that's a fun long shot bet.
I think so. Now, the only bad thing that I don't like about her, but reading these other people, they're putting this horse in 20 to a 16, and then all of a sudden they're putting them in 151s. She's never raced over 56K.
Yeah. So that's like
56,
that's why she's rated so low.
Because people don't feel like she's a competitor. Her jockey is a new jockey. Oh, actually, no. Roman has raced her. Got 4th with her in a 40K.
Is this track supposed to be fast? This one that she's going to be racing on?
It's Southern California. It doesn't rain a lot here, so the turf does stay
so
hard.
Be turf
so it does.
fast.
So usually it is a turf fast.
It seems like she's cool on turf.
It has
fast
been raining.
as well.
It did rain over the weekend, and it doesn't rain that much. But tomorrow morning you'll look up and see what the conditions are.
This says that she's good on turf and fast, it seems. She's done well on turf, and that's interesting.
The D fast?
Yeah.
That's dirt fast.
Yeah, but it says she's 6-1 on turf as well. And I'm sure fast turf doesn't hurt.
Sure. She's shown more turf route promise than the favorite.
Yeah.
Let's go to Congenia. Well, look at
number one.
Puppet Rider or Pulpit Rider.
Puppet Rider.
My bad.
No, it's
Pulpit
fine.
Rider,
Yeah.
who also is another B. Williams horse. B. Williams, I think.
Has ran a lot of long races as well.
B. Williams. Yeah, there's another.
And has actually done pretty well. If you look at the stats.
To me, these guys.
They're in there.
Let me tell you what Queen Bee, Fiery Lady,
Pulpit Rider,
and Gypsy Blue are going to do.
Oh, yeah.
Let me tell you what they're going to do. Even though they're not their style, they're going to run all up front. They're going to race their own race. They're going to lose the race in past 6 furlongs. And a new race is going to start up, which is going to contain these
Sapphire.
longer veterans. These guys are going to take over the pack. Pulpit, Sapphire, Ballaluma is another route vet, but has been beaten again in a route situation, which we don't. To me, any sprint race in this doesn't mean anything to me because
look at the Breyer rating on this one race at Golden Gate, but you said that's not an honest track. 92 on Ballaluma.
Yeah, I don't know. It means nothing to me.
Yeah, and actually it shows that the top Breyer rating on this race was 97, but it's not a heavy. Does Breyer rating change on the strength of the race though? Does it change?
No.
So it doesn't matter.
That's why that's why it's not the most greatest handicap because Breyer's rate number like statistics is influential. There's certain things that are influencing that number to be that number.
As well as this Ballaluma has raced mostly at Golden Gates. There's only like 2 or 3 Santa Anita races.
So to me that's a real 15-1 horse, not Sapphire.
Yeah.
Sapphire's a local. Cool. She's been running. She does good. Look at this. Let me argue this case with her. When's the last time she hasn't placed in money?
Are you talking about Bella or who?
No, Sapphire. I'm actually really liking Sapphire more and more. Look at the last time Sapphire Kid has not placed in money.
There was the 2 last races were 4th place.
She's in money.
Is that
She's
money?
Placed. Yes.
No, 4 is not
Superfecta.
placed. Oh, you're talking about that.
No,
okay.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about
that's
if
still
you're
money.
in 4th, you have
still
showed. You're in there. You're
technically. I believe you. You're right.
You're in the money.
You're in the money. If you're,
it's not the
real money, but
you're not
still
fighting
there.
for fucking 4th. I get it, but you're in the money.
So 5 and 8. So there's only 2 races in the very beginning where she wasn't kind of right there, you know. And even her first race, she won.
No,
first.
I'm asking you, when's the last time she was out of the money?
It was over August 18th, or August 30th, 2018.
Which
at
was
Del Mar.
Which was a little discouraging because it was a mile turf.
But there's 2 Del Mars. 2 Del Mars.
She fought strong in that race, dude.
Yeah.
She went 11, 11, 11, 11, and finished in 5th.
So this is a good sneaky. So
she raced. She's actually a mid-pack stalker, I would call her. I wouldn't call, even though she's shown to close, like she's shown to close in this strange 6 furlong race they put her in. She went 6.66 and closed in on 3 and 3rd.
Yeah.
It's a weird race for her. I mean, she's used to racing a mile, and for some reason they put her in a 6 furlong race. Why the fuck would they do that? I don't understand. It's just weird to me. But then, but all of her route races, she's a upfront stalker. I like to call her, whatever you like to call her.
So let's do this since we've kind of talked about this, and you've kind of had a moment to talk.
She's an interesting horse, dude. Right? I think this horse has some money on her, dude.
Yeah. So let's make some picks. Let's take.
Well, no, we haven't looked at probably the real favorite of the horse, which is number 1.
Oh yeah. Okay, let's talk about Cordiality, and then after Cordiality, let's make some picks because we've looked at some of the other horses as well.
Well, Hello Darling, we didn't really look at.
Well, we don't need to go like super in depth right here, just right now. I looked at Halo Darling. Halo Darling looks like trash to me. No offense to anybody.
Well, you can't not remember these guys can hit off it. These guys can hit off your pitcher.
I'm aware. So look, to check it. Okay, I'll give her this.
I'll tell you what. Hello Darling may not look good, but she might look good for your 4th and 3rd fucking Superfecta wheel.
I'll say and I'll say this: it has experience racing at the 1 mile at Santa Anita.
Right.
It has that, but it Hasn't shown well.
I mean, we're getting a little heavy on my angle of not trusting any sprints because some sprint guys do translate over.
I've seen
and
it.
I think Gypsy Blue might be a third or fourth. But I think, let me say this at least: Gypsy Blue is beatable. I'm gonna tell you that.
Oh yeah. But I was just saying, let's go to Cordiality.
All
really
right,
quick.
Cordiality.
Because these are favorites that, from what I've just looked at, it's right immediately.
Talamo, from what I knew of Talamo, even though his numbers don't show it, he's an above average jockey, even though he's only at 12% for the last 2 years. I liked Talamo. I don't really like Talamo. I respect it when he shows up. He can race.
He's going to be the jockey on this one? Yeah, Talamo, there he is.
Yeah, he's can. No, that's why I mentioned him.
Yeah. And what is his percentage? 12%. Is that bad? That's bad, right? Wait,
It's
am I wrong?
average. Let's call it average.
I thought.
Let's call it really average.
Yeah.
If that's fair.
You said 18 to 19 is good.
15 is a strong average. 18 is above average.
Yeah.
20 above, you need to really respect that player in the field.
So, but
17 too. 17 is, if you get a bunch of 13s and you get 117 in there, that's your, that's the guy to beat, if you will.
Yeah. This horse seems to
3 to 1
done well on 5 and it's average on the turf.
Does really well on the turf.
Well, it's 17.
Look
races.
at him, dude. His beginning of his career, this dude is a 1 mile turf killer, dude. He's a speed horse. He's gonna dictate the speed. All right, let's start from the beginning. Let's start small here. Santa Anita, 1 mile turf. That means that the trainer started him right away on turf. That means that this horse was meant to be a turf horse, a route turf horse.
On a decent race, too, 60,000.
62K. He came in first, second, first. He showed a speed style.
It's Bays. Bays is a great jockey.
Bays is good.
Yeah.
Dude, never discount Bays.
He's raced with him a bunch of times, too.
Nobody says stocked, bid, clear, held. That's a good line.
So that means he kind of waited. What does bidding mean? What did he bid?
There was a horse, when he kicked, the horse next to him kicked too. So he's like, he called his bullshit. He's like, fuck you, I'm gonna kick you too. Let's go at it. So they did a bid at each other. They went for it. So he bidded with another horse. That means that he had a contender.
Yeah.
When he kicked, and the horse next to him kicked as well.
And it looks like it won by one.
And he cleared that horse that challenged him.
1 horse length.
Yeah.
And the other one won by a nose.
It was a convincing race. If
Yeah.
you watched him run that race, you'd be like, wow, that horse, that's his first race? Well, this horse is going to be good. Let me follow him.
And then,
What do you mean the fucking trainer put him in 6.5 furlong? Why are these guys doing this? These guys know more than me. They must be doing this but look what happened.
Yeah.
75K, 4.4446. Totally lost it.
Yeah.
And
Pulled, steadied early. So what is that?
oh, he pulled and steeded.
So something happened.
Yeah,
and
something
that's
happened.
okay.
And you know it's
You
funny
can forgive him for that, right? You put a little mark. Did you put? No, you didn't. What is? You wrote some things on here.
This was because I was doing this earlier today.
So steeded early means he kind of fucked up a little bit. It was like a shorter race. He didn't have time to really pull.
And look, they
like
put
he
a
did.
different jockey on him.
Yeah,
I like this jockey. He's all right. He does it.
Des Ormeaux.
He's an old vet, dude.
Yeah, say Tyler Bays is an old vet as well.
Not as old as
really.
Des
Ormeaux is big.
Yeah, he's been around. He's the East Coast dude.
Okay, so now let's talk about the next couple races. There's some interesting things going here.
So guess what?
Go right into a stakes.
Guess what he did?
Big baller.
Guess what he did after that race? He did this same race last year. Look at it. One turf in the Franz Valentine 101. Guess what he did?
He won by 1 3/4.
Yep. With Gary Stevens, who's the old Hall of Famer.
Good Briar. I see you marked it 90.
That was an excellent Briar. And he did it in this race last year. This guy is the real favorite.
Yeah.
He really is. He's the 5. I'm sorry, no. He's the, I'm going to call him the 9 to 5.
So we have, he won, and he dominated the race. Started in second, finished.
He was clearly the best. Bid, led, clear, late.
Boom. And it's a 1 mile race. It's the same race.
Same race.
And then the next race, it was a different jockey, but still, Tyler Bay's
Back to
decent.
base.
He still had a
Knows the horse.
He still had a Rad Breyer 91.
But look, they stepped him up.
Second, and then
they
he was
stepped him up into a better class. They brought him to a Group 3.
Yeah, and he was in first, but then he probably got taken by some other badass horse that like stalked.
So let's see what happens. Storm the Hill beat him. Oh, he got third. He fell back.
Yeah, he was there, and he was in first, and then he got overtaken.
Led, edged. Yeah, he got. That's a good race though.
It was a good race. I still take it. I still give him props for that one.
The next race, the Del Mar race,
which is tough. Like you said, Del Mar's a tough race.
This is a big race that he won.
And that 150,000.
Solana Beach. That's a big race.
Beat Queen BTU in that one by 2 1/4.
That's interesting because
that means Queen B
has some skills at a route. You got to give it to her. Queen B has some skills. It's a big race. I've already plus that race actually.
Yeah,
that's a big race. That puts some stock back into.
Look at the top Briar like over there, like the.
If I may interrupt you,
go ahead.
It might even show a little bit of a phony baloney in cordiality. It could go this way. But what were you saying?
I was just saying, check out like the top Briars on the right, where it says also the strength of the race. That's a good Briar right there, 96. Yeah. There were some good horses in there. Yeah. But the 13 does give a little like not super rad.
It's not bad.
But it's not bad.
Not bad. And
it's not a 3 or 4.
Cordiality was favored in that race.
Yeah.
For every $2, you really had to bet. I mean, there's $1.30.
Where do you see her odds on that race?
It's right to the left of 96.13.
So yeah, she was the favorite.
And the asterisk means that she was the favorite.
Yeah. And then, so now you got the next race, which is a lower stakes race. Also at Santa Anita, she had a decent Briar, but she never really. It's a stock place, no rally. So she was in the pack, didn't make any moves.
See, this is what's weird about horse racing too. But look what her odds were, dude.
A little lower. How would she be rated so low?
Dude, like to me, she should have been a favorite in that race too.
Because she'd already shown.
She's shown so much promise.
But who were the other horses? I'd have to see these other horses. They might have been actually kind of badass too. We'd have to look up
Clearly
and Quebec and Way to Versailles.
So then that prompts me to look at if you see any of those Way to Versailles, Quebec, or maybe that's Finmer.
She got claimed in that race. Then she got claimed. So new owner. And she's been claimed a few times. So
the new owner, but you want to see her get claimed to a better trainer. That's an indicator. If she gets trained to a worse trainer, that means that a better trainer is giving her up to go elsewhere.
So who's Yakteen Tim? I don't know who this trainer is.
You don't need to know. What you need to know is what the numbers are. So let me see her claim from Lee Glant.
So then she does an optional claim.
And this trainer, Lee Glant, where's his?
So it was the favorite in the race and fell off. Rail surged, beat between late.
Oh, let me see here. Oh, look who almost beat her. Pulpit.
Pulpit
was right there. Rail. She was stuck on the rail, which shouldn't matter because
she came back, but she couldn't overtake.
Between late. So that race could have went anyway.
Yeah, let's forgive her for that.
I
but it's a shitty kind of a race. 62K had a kind of a shitty Briar.
And it's a one. But back to her mom, she got second, and she lost by half a horse length.
Yeah, and it's a new trainer. It's a new trainer.
And look, she did an unusual style of hers where she had to fight back, and she still closed on the field. That's very unusual.
And then that fucking new trainer.
I like that race actually.
That new trainer.
I actually like that race.
That new trainer put her back in a 6.5 furlong, and nothing fucking happened.
Got killed.
Outkicked.
And then Queen BDU got her revenge, and so did Fiery Lady.
And then they got acclaimed from David E.A. Burnson.
I'll forgive her for that sprint race.
But then
a 151.
But in a 6 furlong, I guess they were trying to see.
Miller Peter is a good trainer.
Where do you see Miller? Oh, okay, Miller Peter.
Claimed from Rockiston Ranch and Barber.
So now, and they're owned by Donnie Crevier, who I'm not. I'm still. I don't know all these names.
The whole owners thing that's another whole.
I'm not on that level at all.
Yeah, you gotta.
I didn't even know how to read these
like
things.
Red Baron Barn.
Sure.
That's like see, it's kind of hard because like Red Baron Barn is like the McDonald's of fucking horses. It's the horse just above. You don't.
Where
have
are
it.
you seeing?
You don't
red,
have it. You
where
don't have
are
it.
you seeing? Oh, you okay?
You don't have it. It's another horse in a different race.
Okay.
I'm just giving the fact that Red Baron Barn is like McDonald's. They have tons of horses they put out. You don't know what you're getting. They have great horses, but they also have a lot of average horses.
Yeah. And so let's look at the last two races.
I like the owner to be the trainer.
So check this out. It goes from an optional claim, 62,000 race, where it gets third place in a 6.5 furlong, which is
surged.
That's kind of cool.
They put the word surged in.
So she's definitely good in a mile.
She's a fucking mile.
Then they put her in a G2, which I see you put a plus
look at that!
next.
Yeah, they put her in a G2. That's the highest race of the field.
And this is weird. Started hard, and then fell off
because she's not a group rated horse. She's probably where she's at 100K, if not maybe like she'd be a great 75 claimer or 75 allowance.
But dude, check this out too. So like, it started hard and kind of ran out of gas.
She was the rabbit. She was the pace setter of that race. And then Val Skeens and Mel Ticket took her over.
So this could be a good race for her.
Fanned out early. She's definitely
if she
the
did
favorite.
good like
She's
this,
the one
if
to
she
beat.
did this, if she does this in this race,
be in this race,
but if she does this in this race and can kill it like
she
that,
would destroy everybody.
She'll destroy everybody.
Yeah. She is the one. Now the question is,
will Gypsy Blue show
number 2, Sapphire Kid, outduel her? Because she too is a speed style race horse, as of Cordiality is a speed style. When you look at her Cordiality overall race history, from race 1 to race whatever, you notice that she likes to stay. She look at her first race: 22111, 4446, 2211, 222211, 22211, 4446. Because she just didn't have the speed of the day, so she's not going to fight back. It's not her style. She needs to be in front of the pack to win. She has a speed style. It's very unusual that her last race she went 8883. Just must have been a really easy race for her. She should have won that race. Again, they put her in a fucking 6.5 sprint. To her, the race just started. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like she's just starting the race, and then the other to make the mile. Her last race is kind of forgivable because it is a G2 race. She's making a big step down.
And she did all right. She just like couldn't keep it up at the end.
And she dominated the same race of this race
a year ago.
Dominated. Well, it was only a horse length. But
she did what she kept it. She was in second, first, and first.
Which is hard to do, you know.
By a head. So there was a horse contending.
It's really hard for me to trust speed horses.
But there was a horse contending, and she kept it up. Like the one thing that might get her is a horse that closes, like a good closer.
Right. But that's the thing. Speed is, you live, you die young, it's like you live strong, you speed, I don't know, I forgot the saying is, but like speed horses are, it's so hard to have a speed horse that just wins and wins and wins. Justified was such a rare horse.
Listen, I'm going to look really quickly at Algorithmic since we haven't given it any love at all.
We haven't gotten her at all.
All short races.
Yeah,
High Briars in some
fast,
respects.
Man.
Yeah,
she's fast.
But
she doesn't know how to win.
Does not win.
She hasn't won since July 17th. 2017.
Wow. So I would keep it at a low. I don't think anything's going to happen with her.
Yeah, but look what. Yeah,
I don't see any good things on paper. The paper's not.
I could sit here and go out on a limb and say.
Started strong and then it's just said like fuck it. Maybe it's got like you look at.
Yeah, look at weekend,
not
leg,
not
out kick, weekend, off slow, bid gamely, cleared upper, ridden out, meaning that she was just like they fucking metal to the pedal. One thing I do like about this horse is the trainer. She's weak in sprint to route, meaning that when she brings a horse who usually does sprint and then takes her to a route form, she's done it 17 times and hasn't won a single dollar doing it. In turf, She's raced 46 horses. She's 7% win rate, which is not good. It's just not. I mean, it's below average. I don't want to say it's bad, but it's below average. She's only won 96 cents to your $2 bet.
Where are you seeing those money? Oh, in the bottom?
The trainer.
I see
She's
that
versus
trainer.
Works and trainer.
Yeah.
And then routes, she's done it 62 times. She's 11% win rate. Let's call that average.
The most likely to set pace in the stakes route because she's fast. However, the least likely
Stay
winner.
away from these closer looks because they guide your thought process.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool to read
Overthinking.
them after, like when we're done right now talking, then we read them. Because then you'd be like, oh yeah, that's what I just fucking said. Or like, nah, I don't, it's, okay, but anyway, like, I always try to find some positives about a horse. Now, I will tell you about this horse, which proves her early speed, is her workouts are good. On May 3rd, she worked out in 5 furlongs at a minute. Out of 39 horses, she got the second fastest speed. On April 26th, Santa Anita, she raced for 1:01. Out of 46 heads, she was
Who are you looking at?
7th
Who are you looking
in the
at?
works.
Which one?
For
Oh, the workouts.
number 8.
Yeah.
The 5 furlong, she raced, 5:36, 5:66, 3:66. She was third out of 66 horses. So she works out good. So she will. Let's do this. Let's put. What I like to do sometimes is this. I'll get the the right side of the page will be the second quarter of the race. Who is leading? Who's playing the pack rabbit? And who will jump off out in front, and who will stay in the middle, and who will stay behind the pack. So I like to put the numbers down, right? So we could definitely say number 8 will be in the front of the pack as they break the gate. If she's down in the front of the pack, she broke wrong, right? So that's safe to say, and I think it's and I don't. Gypsy Blue is going to be in the back of the pack.
Not back. I don't think back. For
You
real.
don't think about okay. I like your.
I think maybe third place. Or
Okay,
something.
I like your reason because they. I could argue with you and sit here and tell you, well, she is a sprint. She's a sprint horse, so there's a good chance she will come out in third. But if her jockey, who's good and knows anything, will try to hold her back.
Yeah.
To close on the field, knowing there's a lot of speed. So that's why I want to put her in my formulation is to put her in the 5th, 6th spot. But anyway,
well,
I like your thinking though.
Yeah, I think that she's going to contend, and I think she's going to be overtaken. I think she's going to be overtaken.
I think her only chance is to stay in that mid pack.
So let's see what we got here. I'm going to make some notes here. Right now, your favorite right now is number 1.
I think that's the horse to beat. Yes,
Cordiality. A sneaker into the pack is number 2.
I would put money on 2. I'm rooting for number 2.
And that's Sapphire.
That's Sapphire.
So 2 is, I'll put a square around it. Sapphire. Sapphire for money.
And I'm going to tell you what the Mike Tyson quote of the whole race is.
What's that?
Everyone has a plan to get socked in the fucking face. And you know who's going to sock you in the face?
Sapphire.
That motherfucking Mike Smith.
Oh, Mike Smith.
I always...
Fiery.
Every time I go against a fucking dude, he wins. He'll make this fiery lady win, motherfucker.
So Fiery Lady's a contender. I'm going to put 1, 2, 6.
Yeah, but out of the... Look, there's a class here between 4, 6, and 9. And I personally think the best of the class is number 4, even though Mike Smith obviously doesn't think that. He thinks number 6 is.
So you think... So between 4, which is
6
Queen Bee...
and 9...
Yeah.
There's a little these guys know each other.
Yeah. And then that's Gypsy. And so let's say this. Do you think it would be possibly Cordiality, Fiery Lady, Queen Bee, maybe so 1, 6, 4.
They can't all win.
1, 4, 6, possibly trifecta box. 1, 2, maybe Sapphire. If 1 wins and 2 shows, or vice versa, who do you think the third would be in that one? Fiery Lady?
Wait, say what you said?
Let's say Cordiality is our favorite right now.
You have to wheel Cordiality in 1, 2.
So
you
then,
have to.
Sapphire.
If you have an
Sapphire
exacta,
could be a second place or first place
it's a
finisher
good exacta
too.
bet, 1-2.
Yeah, 1-2's good exacta. But
I
Sapphire could win it too.
I think she can win.
Now, so then let's say 1-2, and then the third place horse or the third is
She doesn't
between
know how to win, though. I gotta
six.
say.
Who?
Sapphire. She's won first, actually won.
She's won a few times.
Yeah.
She's been close. And they say want to win. That's
She
actually
just
a
has
good thing.
She just doesn't have any experience over
But
40K.
so let's say, but one choice of a bet, a box bet would be 1-2-6, or 1-2, and then 6-4 or 9. 6-4 or 9.
Man, and Cordiality, she's speed at a route, dude. She's gonna be up front with number 8.
So
She's
then
gonna hang out right behind number 8. Cordiality's gonna sit right behind her.
So then, Fiery Lady could win it too, right?
Fiery Lady,
Because that's Mike Smith.
is another. You know what I like about her is that she's a short range stalker, a short range closer. If you look at her history, she's 4, or she goes 2-2-1-1. She goes 5-5-1-1, 5-5-3-2, 5-5-4-3, 3-3-1-1. And then she Van Dyke like an idiot tried to make her a speed horse, and she went 1-1-2 and then lost it and went to 4. I think Fiery is going to show up mid pack, be a little threat in number 4-3.
So fourth or third place?
No, I mean that's her spot when she starts running off.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, I'm putting Gypsy behind even her. I think Gypsy's gonna
fourth
be
place
behind. Yeah, I think Gypsy's gonna be either 4-5 and Fiery 3-4
because of her speed. So we are thinking Queen Bee and Fiery Lady are going to make it to the front of the pack by the end of the race.
No, they're gonna stay within the third and
But that's what I'm
striking
saying.
zone.
Gypsy is behind them.
Yes.
So we're saying as of right now, our top 4 picks are Cordality.
No, right now we're discussing how the race is gonna be ran.
Oh, I was just saying picks.
But this is important before you pick.
Okay.
Because we're actually visualizing the race right now. From all the stupid fucking information that we went through, we're actually predicting the race right now.
Okay.
And I'm predicting, it's a very strong feeling, and through our own research here, that number 8 is definitely going to go up front. Number 8 is going to be in the front. She's going to determine the first half of the pace of the race. She is the little rabbit that the Greyhounds are running at.
Because she's fast off the bat.
She's fast off the bat, but she has no lungs to her. She's going to burn out.
And that's what is it? Algorithmic?
Yeah. And that's number 8. I want to tell you who's going to be right behind her.
Fast off bat. All short races so far. All short races, and then others with more experience. Others with more experience will actually read. Sorry, I was like writing as I was like, because I'm taking my own notes. But others with more experience are gonna pace behind there and then explode off the end.
They're gonna try to close. They're gonna close in the speed.
Others with more experience will close, and then we're thinking Gypsy, though the favorite, though it shows a lot of power but it's all done in short races. We're hoping that if the only way Gypsy can win, in our opinion, is if her jockey can hold her back and save her.
If Gypsy shoots out to the front, she's lost.
Yeah.
If you see number 9 shoot out to first place, I'm gonna tell you right now, she's lost. If she hangs out in the 6th and 5th position and is gamely, she has a very strong chance of winning.
Yeah.
Queen and 4 and 6 are going to have their own little personal speed battle behind the which I feel is the true speed of the race. Yeah, this is what's going to happen, dude. I'll tell you right now what's going to happen. Where's number 4 at? No, where's Hallow Darling in the mix? Hallow Darling is number 5. She is... Yeah, she's a stalker. And
she's hard for me to love. I don't love what I'm seeing with her. Well,
Sapphire is beating the shit out of her.
Who's this Franco G? What's his deal? So he's at a 13% as well.
He can ride a horse.
Yeah. Well, I think they all can.
She really got.
She's done some shitty races. I'm
But
going to
that's
quote
another
unquote.
sprint
I hate.
race.
I'm going to take that back because I'm not a horse expert.
Her last force. No, it's good to be confident in your opinions because you're gonna learn from your mistakes. No
Because
matter how good you are.
her one radical $150,000 stake race, she finished 8th. What is saved ground weekend? So there's a third, and then 4th, and then said, "Fuck this, dude, I'm losing."
I don't know. She saved ground.
Oh, and that was in the race against Queen Bee and Fiery Lady. Fiery Lady and Queen Bee on January 19th at Santa Anita.
8-6, something happened to her. She wasn't feeling it that day. But then she did it again.
I'm just not seeing Halo Darling as being that much of a contender, which I understand her 15-1 rating. Maybe not as bad as Algorithm.
Or as bad as number 7.
Because it's still running ones, like 1 mile races or more.
Right. And she has a pretty...
Look, and it got first place. I think first or second.
Oh, no, she has
got
two
second.
Nice...
Second.
Her last 3 races aren't bad.
It got second. It got second place in this 1 1/8. You know.
Right. That's the long
race. And another 1 mile race. Only Tiny Tina beat her by barely.
Oh wait, look at see. Sometimes when they don't go in,
look, it says it only.
She Pulpit beat her in that one. No, she beat Pulpit. Oh no, that's a different race.
Yeah.
Hello, darling. See, sometimes too, I'll try to see if, like, for instance, Hello, darling. Let's say she beat. Things gets weird, dude, because then sometimes they'll show Hello, darling with nothing on her. You don't like her, but then they'll show that she beat S.Y. Sky.
Well, she didn't.
She didn't. But I'm saying,
but they might.
The shit gets crazy. Like, then you really like this whole theory we just came up with. You see that, you're like, fucking bit. Like, all my theories I just came up with just failed because of that one.
But that's still a fluke. It's a fluke. You have to look at it as a.
Yes and no. It depends on how strong. Like this S.Y. Sky, I don't know why, but I like the horse. He's beaten, even though she's not in the horse. She's not in this race. But she's part of that class of 4, 6, 9. You know, Gypsy Blue, Queen to Be, and Fiery Lady. She's part of those guys. She's probably the second or the best out of those dudes. She's not in this race. But and then all of a sudden I see Hello Darling and beat her. I'm going to respect Hello Darling a lot better.
Yeah.
What I do respect about Hello Darling, I'll give her this.
Improvement?
She has shown signs of improvement. She has shown signs to run at this.
She's been favored.
Length.
She's been in favorites in a few of her races. I'll give her that.
She's not favored here.
Not at all. There's reasons, too, that they know. It seems like they know. Like when her horse first raced, she was 100 to 1 odds when she first raced.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I put my fucking money. I was like, you never know.
Well, they know the connections too that are coming in.
They definitely do. They do.
Oh, look at this. Is interesting. The breeders are the same. Williams has Tommy Town isn't huge.
Fiery Lady, Halo
3.
Darling. And which one is the
number 3? Pulpit
Rider.
It's the owners, though. The owners are the ones that, if you see an owner that puts like 3 or 4 races in, well, Pulpit is the breeder and owner, still owned by Larry B. Williams. So B. Williams is in this race. He does have stakes in this race after all, with number 3, who.
So the breeder has a few horses, but then he has one horse that he owns. But a few that he's bred and sold.
Yeah, he's got quite a bit of them.
That must suck, breeding a horse and then getting beat by a horse. I'm sure it happens all the time, but it still sucks. It's like, shit.
So let me tell you what we were talking about, the running order.
Yeah.
Number 8 is going to run off
That's the
straight
pace.
out the bat.
Pace. Speed,
number 1 and
2.
1 and 2 are going to have their own little personal battle behind number 8. 4, 6, 9, 3... are all going to vibe on beating number 1.
4, 6, 9, and 3.
Yeah. Number 2, unfortunately, our favorite long shot, she's not experienced at this level. She's kind of coming off of a low number. She has shown the one on a 56K allowance. She came in 3rd. She had a strong race. She was 6'6", 3rd. She hasn't seen any of these horses in.
Who's this?
This is Sapphire. Kid.
Sapphire, yeah. She hasn't seen that. So that's the thing, is there's no tail between the other horses. So that's something that one reason why they might have put her so low is because they can't base it off anything. It's all based off of I will say this. Look at all long races. I like that.
Yeah, I do like who Sapphire.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I like about her. Man.
Tyler Bays.
And she's improved.
How about this, though? I mean, she does have Roman EA in one other race, but this is a different jockey.
Well, he's shown to show some liking to the horse because Bays came back on her and got the same result.
Yeah, it's the exact same, huh? But you said doesn't look like it wants to win. That's the one thing.
Well, I mean, she's got 4, 4, 1, 3, 4, 2, 3, but she's always like she's a good. Like if I was doing a Super 10 cent, she would definitely be in that 34 spot.
Good superfecta box.
I think she's gonna get beat up bad.
1, 2, 6, 4 is a good superfecta.
Well,
that's $2.40.
This is the question when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Who is gonna beat between the little class of characters between 4, 6, and 9?
Yeah, it's because Gypsy could show up.
Gypsy shows up, and Gypsy's beaten Queen. Gypsy has shown to beat Queen
in the early.
She's shown to beat Fiery Lady, even though Fiery has Mike on her.
What's the difference in length between 6 furlongs and a mile?
A lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
So that I feel that
it's a big deal.
Gypsy, like you said, if Gypsy runs out of the bat, if he's not held back,
she's done.
She's done, or she's done.
She's a mare. Yeah. That's exactly how this race is going to get around, dude. 8's in a shootout. 1 and 2 are going to battle behind her. I think 1's going to beat the crap out of 2.
It's not that big of a difference. Maybe in horse racing it is, but 1 furlong equals an eighth of a mile.
It's a big deal.
I know. Maybe
because put it this way, a mile,
220 yards. That's 2 football fields. That is pretty long. Yeah, you're right.
A mile is around the track. 6.5 furlongs is
a half
one turn.
mile. It's a half mile.
It's one turn.
6 furlongs is a half, or no, 6 furlongs is 3/4 of a mile.
Right. It's it's almost.
That's a lot of. I guess that's a lot. That's a lot of stuff going on in that quarter of a mile. Yeah.
Man,
this is a tough one, huh?
It's tough because 4, 6, and 9 are so close and they know each other so well. I'd like 9 out of them. I would go 1, 9, 6, 2.
So you think 9 might win second place?
1, 9, 6, 2. My win bet is 1. My long shot win bet is 2.
So you think 2 might get fourth place?
I think 2 could win.
Oh, but you put 1, 9, 6, 2 a superfecta.
I never bet place and
superfecta box. That's what you're saying.
I was super 10 cent super.
Yeah, so that'd be $2.40. $2.40. 1962.
1962. And then to cover, if you wanted to cover your bet, you could. Wait, what? Oh,
1964 or 1.
Yeah, 1469. 1469.
To get rid of Sapphire.
You got rid of Sapphire.
Yeah, 1469.
And Pulpit Rider is a dangerous. If you're playing Superfecta, Pulpit's dangerous, dude. She's dangerous.
Yeah.
She's shown to compete with Queen Bee. She got 5th by 3 horse lengths. It's on a 6.5 in the famous 151K. This famous 151K. We should look up the fucking race. It's ran. You run these races so much that you just look it up on YouTube, and you watch the fucking thing. And watching it, you'll see Queen Bee to you like, oh my gosh, she was so much better than Fiery Lady, and then you become a Queen Bee to you fan.
So yeah. So anyways,
yeah,
that's what. So far. This means nothing, so I'm not saying to bet the farm. I'm just saying this is a total opinion because I don't want to get sued. I'm saying our picks right now are
no. There's you
1,
pay
9.
For picks.
I know.
So people who do picks. This is what they do for a living.
1962 Superfecta is a safe bet. Where number 2 Sapphire is a fun, sneaky, high odds.
And
horse.
You know what might be a fun bet too is 192 Trifecta box.
Yeah, that'd be a nice big win.
And you can wheel that 6 and 2.
192, you said?
192, and you could wheel 6.
What is wheeling 6
That
mean?
means that if 2 doesn't show up in the third spot, you could wheel 6 over.
Are you saying 1-2-1-9? Oh, but that's
192 or 196.
Oh, cool. I think that's smart because don't forget Mike. What's his name? Mike Smith.
That motherfucker. I
So that's cool.
I'm. He's like Gomez. Gomez was alive and he used to race.
Yeah.
Every time I would always play against Gomez, and he would kick my ass every time.
Cool. Well, then let's.
Gomez was gangster, by the way.
So that concludes our little horse racing thing. You want? Yeah.
We'll see. We'll follow up what happened tomorrow. Watch the race. Tomorrow, watch the race, and
We'll
see
follow
what
up.
happens.
Yeah.
And it will really show you what our thought process was.
Yeah.
Oh, well, let's do this. Let's do the closer look now. And see from all of our little fucking ranting on and theories.
Let's be quick because I'm definitely gonna have to edit this, but it's like no, I'm not saying we have to do it quick because of like the time, but just because it's like the length of our show, you know.
Oh wow!
But just like take a quick closer look. Let me look. So, okay, let's start with number 1. So, number one, it says, the 2018 winner of this stake bids to repeat, which you were saying. Might be the one to beat dropping in class after good effort in grade 2, which we talked about. Pressed fast pace, made lead. Battled to deep stretch, and swallowed. Ideal prep for this state-bred mile. Though questions remain regarding overall quality of that field. 3 ran back, including pair that finished 8th and 3rd at low odds. Another unplaced as a long shot. Versatile running style and inside post translate to a potential good trip.
Those are big words. Especially, no, I'm serious. Especially when they said, fast pace, may leave out of suspension. So, ideal prep for the state-bred mile. That's a big statement.
So Sapphire Kid, difficult to endorse based on recent form that includes pair of 4th and first level allowance routes. Both races won by pace setter. Yet Sapphire Kid backed up after pressing the pack. It's hard because
pressing the pace.
Yeah, the pace because my page bends on the pictures that I
took. So in other words, Sapphire came out strong.
Yeah.
She was pressing the pace, but she lost it. So that's why they don't like her form, because she doesn't show a form to finish.
Yeah, so we put her in this because she does show good promise with her. So let's go to Pulpit Rider. Major contender.
But she didn't finish.
Perhaps
9 was far too back. Perhaps 13-10 around was too soon. Last out. So they raced her right away.
The stakes race. The stakes race for the state-bred fillies and mare did not come up all that strong, so would be careful to dismiss any, but objective handicapping suggests this filly is in too tough. Does that change your shit?
No, I don't necessarily agree. I mean...
Yeah, so, Pulpit Rider.
She's a long shot, you know? We're trying to find money in the race with the long shot.
Pulpit Rider is a 12-1, but major contender facing easier in this restricted stake than she met in the last time in 2X. The 9 furlong race was her first start in more than 2 months. Likely designed as a prep for this. She's a 2-time stakes winner at a mile on turf, though both stakes wins were versus a state-bred 3-year-old fillies. Good form late last year, when her come-home times in successive N2X turf miles were 23.07 and 22.69. With a prep under her belt, a shorter distance, she must be taken seriously.
So maybe she's... Yeah, that's...
Uh-oh, that just screwed up.
No, it didn't. I mean, it definitely... Like, Sapphire Kid maybe... she's number 3 has definitely put me in some type of consideration for a long shot for sure.
So let's go on to Queen Bee. Entered in G3 Turf Marathon Saturday. This turf mile versus state-bred miler seemed more reasonable. Runner-up to rail-drawn Cordiality last time she tried a mile on turf in state-bred stakes race, and her midfield finish last out in Hillside Stakes was okay. Although she might be a cut below others in this field, her recent form is acceptable, and her tactical speed gives her the option of making the lead or pressing the pace. Contender. You said she's a contender. You didn't put her in your top superfectas, though.
No, because I think with the new jockey, Bejarano not being on her, she's used to good jockeys. She has, look at, Bejarano's a top-notch jockey. Yeah. I don't like her.
Cool. So let's move on to Halo Darling. Stablemate of Queen Bee to you. Likely to start as one of the higher odds runners in this field.
So what the stablemate means is that they work out together. They know each other. So Queen Bee and her are basically, Halo Darling is put in the race to keep the number 4 horse in pace. Kind of like a blinder. So Halo Darling is probably not expected to do anything other than
recent form is fine for starter allowance and claiming races, but at this stage of her career, 6-year-old mare seems overmatched against the stake rivals. Speed figures do not compare well to par. Recent class is questionable. Would be an absolute stunner. An absolute stunner! Trivia early in career, Halo Darling won debut as 2-year-old at Del Mar, then finished 6th in G1 Chandelier, won by Songbird. Which I'm not really seeing that on here, so it must be some different.
It's like in 2000 and
yeah,
because they only list our 2-year-old.
Yeah,
that was
closer look at Fiery Lady, sibling to Halo Darling, so they're related. So, in an adjacent stall, recent form suggests Fiery Lady has fighting chance. Dueled and faded last time in a hillside sprint. That curious strategy proved easy alibi because she runs best with a target to chase, rather than setting the pace. Also runs best around 2 turns, 5 for 7 in grass routes. Reunited with jockey that guided her to N1X sprint with 2 back in 4-horse field. Stakes placed 2 times last 4 starts. Figures for a comfortable trip position near the lead. So they think she might be a contender.
And she's nicely placed where she can put herself in the race where the jockey wants to put her. She's not trapped on the rail.
Bella Luma. Though tailed off this winter as 5-year-old, form last year would make her a contender even if she seems to prefer synthetic rather than grass. Changed trainer since last place effort 2 weeks ago. Though it is debatable if new trainer based in Southern California has had her long enough to produce improvement. 3rd start back from a layoff. Turf Stakes winner 1 year ago with races that are fast enough. Has a shot to surprise if somehow returns to top form. I think we talked about her that we like.
I could see that. Look at her top form was strong, but that's Golden Gates.
Yeah, that doesn't. Yeah. So then let's go to Algorithmic.
Even in her top form, she went to Santa Anita and got 8th.
Algorithmic, veteran sprinter of the board, 3 previous routes, has yet to reproduce sharp form of spring-summer 2017. Most likely to set the pace. We talked about this before. This was the first one where when you told me that we should save this for the end, but front-running long shot. So this is a fun one to throw money on because she's so fast. But again, we think she'll be overtaken because she doesn't run really good long.
Well, they say that too. They say front runner, long shot, an easy toss.
But she of all the long shots, because she's 12-1. There's a couple 15-1s. Of all the long shots, they think she's the front runner of those.
No, they're saying that she's going to run in the front of all the pack.
Ah, copy that.
And the reason why they say front running long shot is because if the closers just don't do anything all day long, and for some reason Congeniality doesn't run a race, she will run from gate to wire.
Yeah. So this next Gypsy Blue, who is the overall morning favorite, the morning what'd you call it? The morning line's favorite.
The morning line.
If this race was on the hill, she would be an overwhelming favorite. What is on the hill?
Okay, so on grass, there's a 6.5 furlong route in Santa Anita. It's very unique in the racing field where it actually starts up on top of the hill, and they run down a hill and make their one turn. They briefly go over dirt, which some people say they freak out the horses, and they go on the stretch, back onto grass, go on the stretch, and finish. Now, the reason why they say that is because it is an overwhelmingly favored towards closing horses. The theory is that the horses start off on top of the hill, and if you're a speed horse, you're going to go even faster than what you're used to doing, meaning that you're going to, when you go on the bottom of the hill, you're going to be going too fast and your horse is going to slow down because he's not used to running that fast. It's like you running down a hill, and all of a sudden you're running as fast as you've never ran before in your life, and you're going to be exhausted because when you get down to the bottom of that hill that you ran down, it's going to hit like a G-force. You're just going to and even though you're a fast horse, you're going to hit that bottom and just G-force out, and then horses that held back down that hill are going to close on you much easier. So that's why they say that if this was on the hill, she would be an overwhelming favorite because she is shown great skill at sprint racing / she's as I call a stone cold closer. She does nothing but closes on the field. She doesn't show any speed in the beginning of the race.
So now 4-on-4 on turf. So all 4 wins were sprints. This is her first route.
No, she's 4 for 4 on turf. That means that every time she's raced on turf, she's won.
Yes, but all 4 were sprints.
Right.
This is her first route.
Yeah, I used to say but because it's a big step to go from sprint to route.
Outside post, another challenge, and then I can't see the word because my page is like...
Though,
not a huge disadvantage from statistical standpoint. Posts 7, 8, 9 each produced 11% winners this season on 1 mile turf. Outside post is a potential hurdle for a mare that has, and I can't see because my page is
never run this long.
Never run this long. Sharp form on hill, which many believe is similar to 2-turn mile. Tricky read for this contender.
Yeah, she's finicky, like what we said.
So that's
so we were pretty. The only thing from all that stuff is I like Pulpit a little bit better now, and I almost want to pull 2. Now I'm afraid to pull 2 out of the mix, but Pulpit has shown some strong, consistent briars. She's raced much better classes than 2. I want to change up and actually change 2 for 3 now. So I'm going to actually take 2 completely out of my equations.
Really?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Because I think 2 is going to get beat up by 1. Because Cordiality is she's strong. She's strong speed, and she's on the inside lane. She's outclassed number 2.
Why would you take Pulpit Rider?
Because Pulpit has 100K, 196K, 80K, 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 G3, 62, 62K, 151K. Brought back down to a sprint. This famous 151K that's giving so much play to number 4, 6, and 8 is this 151 race. But it's a sprint race. They brought her back in, ran her for 1.1 miles. She pulled, steadied early, still got 4th.
So are you thinking 1,963?
And 3 is my long shot money play. 3 is worth the $5 win back.
You put 9 Gypsy Blue over number 2 Sapphire.
I think Sapphire is going to get broken down. I think she's a strong contender for 4th. Her and 3 are probably going to have a battle at 3rd and 4th place.
But so what about 6?
Is going to overcome.
6 is going to beat those. So are we thinking it'll be 1, 9, 6, and then 3 and 2 battle?
1,
9, 6 for sure. Then 2 and 3 battle for 4th.
And I would do for. And
what about 4? 3. You don't think Queen Bee will take Gypsy?
No, because her jockeys, she's used to really good. She had Bejarano, Pratt.
Who's this guy?
Pratt doesn't ride her. Why didn't Smith jump on her? Fuentes is he's an average. She's 15% average. The trainer is average. He doesn't have anything that sticks out compared.
And Pratt F is going to be on Gypsy Blue.
Fairy Lady doesn't have the greatest. She's actually the trainer for Fairy Lady. Looks like it's like me and you just bought the horse. There's all zeros.
Where do you see all zeros?
For the trainer.
Oh, for the trainer.
It's all zeros. That's really scary zeros.
You're talking about Fiery Lady.
Yeah,
all
but
zeros.
She has Smith on her.
There you go. So that's basically what what we got going on our very first look at on Sunday. Things are subject to change.
And you're
Horses are going to be
constantly second guessing yourself. It's a fucking gambling race, and you come up with theories, and it's fun to see how your theories play out.
cool. So let's see how our theories play out and tomorrow.
For race number 7.
For race number 7 at Santa Anita. Be there.
Do, 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 do.
All right, and that's the horse racing edition of the White Wolf's Den, featuring LP3, Landor.
What LP3?
That's you. You told me, stupid ass.
LP.
Oh, LP3 is what's on your tools.
That's because who notches 3 notches in their tools?
Oh. Well, there you go. Check out our website at whitewolfsden.com and sign up to our mailing list. You can also email me your questions. And if your question isn't dumb as hell, I'll answer it on the show. Thank you for listening.